All right, guys, welcome to another podcast. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the notification bell. We have a big episode on today. We have Griffin Johnson on the podcast. We have Michael Gruen. Fuck Michael Gruen. I think that's the first thing we're going to start with.
I think that's a trend today. You know,
it is
fuck Michael Gruen, yeah.
And you just want to bring your mic a little bit more in so it picks you up.
Look, there's only one person that can fuck me, and she's not here right now.
Damn.
You have a girlfriend?
Happens.
Dude, you know what? It's not my thing, but you can do that.
All right, it's gonna be a great episode. Make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Guys, we've never met before, Griffin.
We have.
Actually,
Oh my God, we did. Yeah,
we did one time.
I think it's Saddle, right?
No, it was at
FTB.
FTB. Yeah, I remember
I
that.
got dragged into there.
What stupid name is FTB?
For the boys. Yeah.
And they would run around with a Saturdays are for the boys flag. Like what every fraternity had been doing for like 5 years before that. And then
Yeah, it was really creative.
Wait, you're saying that TikTok houses aren't original?
No, dude. Well, actually, there's some original ones. I just don't think they were on the most original track.
Which one is original?
I mean, Hype House and Sway were pretty original.
How?
No,
Yeah, they were the
Hype
new-
House
they were the
wasn't.
only one.
I mean, dude,
How
it's all
was
kind of
either
the
of
same
them
of what
original?
happened in 2016.
It's like
too.
same shit in different fonts.
We literally just copied Jake Paul.
So was that what your mindset was in the beginning? He's like,
No,
do
it actually happened on accident. So I was working in crypto at the time in Santa Monica. And I was like friends with Bryce, just like off the cuff being in LA. Went to Bryce's house, met Josh. And then from there, me and Josh actually argued with each other the first time we met. We hated each other for like the first couple hours. Then we sat down and like started talking. And like Josh is like, I don't know, you've never met him, but
Yeah.
he thinks in like a very numerical and like analytical way. And that interested me because like I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Like I know nothing about entertainment coming into this.
Yeah.
All I knew about was like building businesses and scaling. And like I just saw that he was thinking numerically. Then I found out his dad's a calculus teacher. I was like, this is interesting. And then he started coming to LA more, was like sleeping on one of my friends' couches. And then from there, like Bryce had to leave his house because the lease was over and everyone was like basically sleeping on my friend's couch and bed and like floors. And then at that point it was like, maybe we should just get a house.
Okay, that's how Sway started. It was just
We didn't have a name, but there was an article coming out from the New York Times about like houses, and Taylor Lorenz called me. He's like, "Hey, like, do you have a name yet for your house?" I was like, "No." He's like, "If you can get me one by this time, we'll include you in the article."
It was like a couple hours. Dude.
Yeah.
So I sent everyone a text. I'm like, "Can everyone send some name suggestions?" Nothing. Like 4 hours later, it's like, "Hello, anyone alive?"
Yeah.
Nothing. Then like people started throwing out some names, so I kept harassing everyone. They all sucked. And I literally went up with Thesaurus and I clicked like Thesaurus for influence, and like you could sway an opinion as a form of influence. So I was like, what about sway?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, half the people didn't reply, half the people were just like, fuck it at this point. We don't have another name, so go for it.
Yeah.
They hated it at first.
But like names always suck at the beginning, and they sort of catch on.
That's not true.
Yeah.
The name Michael Gruen was great from day one.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Griffin
Like, where were you at that point? Were you part of Sway like in the beginning?
Well, I mean, like I was I moved in originally, but like I wasn't there when they started it at Bryce's. I was at school.
Okay.
And then I came out in September.
I remember one time you sat down and you were like, I got a $500 Trojan brand deal. He was so proud.
Yeah, I did
so
get a
proud.
brand deal from Cherokee.
Okay, that is pretty sick though. It's
I
a
was
Trojan
like-
brand
Oh,
deal. Yeah.
no, it's fucking sick. But I remember like $500. He was so proud. This is like before we moved out here.
Yeah.
I did.
You
I
were
flexed
way
on it.
smaller
He was like,
too,
dude,
right?
if
Yeah.
I could make $10,000 a month, I'd be chilling. I'd be so happy. And I was like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like happy. You should definitely move out if that's like your standard.
But I mean, we all in the same different mindsets. Like $10,000 a month.
I was in college.
Right. I know. We were all in college. Like $10,000 a month is insane.
Yeah. it was
Oh,
like-
I'm not saying it's not, but it was
Yeah.
just like opening him up to a new world of opportunities.
Yeah.
And when he said like 10,000 was his goal, I'm like, I knew I could just blow that out of the water. Okay. So I was like, I didn't do it. Like I can give you my word, you'll make that. And I even told him like, I'll pay whatever the remainder is. If you go 1 month not making 10, I'll pay it. Well, then they started doing stupid shit, and I was like, deal off the table. Like, you can't hurt your own self in the $10,000 game,
Keys
right?
cap.
What was that story? So what do you mean? Like, how were you being helped out there with the brand deals, and then it became like, what was the trouble part?
I mean, did you see our content?
So
bro?
I would suggest you Google Sway House, and like it all comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like.
I mean, they literally went on a bender for 6 months.
Is that what you describe it? It was basically a frat house in the beginning.
I mean,
Not basically.
not basically. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was bad, dude. I mean,
It
you
was.
just look up on the internet. It's like,
Yeah. It's the partying, like the lights going out, all that shit happened at the
Dude,
same
yeah,
time.
I
The
mean-
arrests.
No. The lights already went out when Griffin was out of the house.
yeah, that was at the
Griffin
end.
was actually not at either of those parties. He was in Indiana.
Okay.
I still got fucked from it, but yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So this is interesting because relationship. So when I first met Michael, right, we went to dinner, and then it was like this
very nice date.
Very
Thank
nice
you.
date. Yeah, it's a great date. You know, it was looking into each other's eyes.
Kiss at the end.
A little bit.
Whoa.
But what ended up happening while we were there, it's crazy because like we walked in and it was like a mafia movie. I don't know if you've been through, like I'm sure you go through this when you go to dinner with Michael, but it's like everyone comes up, shakes your hand, goes, Michael, good to see you again. Good to see you again. It's like a mafia walking into an Italian
That's
restaurant.
what happens when you spend $40,000 at one restaurant every month.
Yeah, what the fuck? How are you spending $40,000 a month at a restaurant?
Here's the thing. Craig's is one of the top restaurants in terms of executives. Like all the old Hollywood executives go there. So the first time I went, I had dinner with Kevin O'Leary and Jake Paul and Anthony Scaramucci.
Wow.
So random crew, I know. So they
all
took
powerhouses though. Holy shit.
There was a couple other people there too that I don't want to name, but that are very, very successful. And we're all sitting at a table, and I just met like Craig, and I was like, "Yo, can I grab your number?" He's like, "Sure." I then like started texting him for reservations, and at some point I realized like, this is the place. This is like 4 years. This is the place. So I kind of like went there a couple more times and was spending real money, but you go there and you just walk in. It's like Jeff Bezos. It's just like everyone goes there. So you're like, at some point, you're like, it's a networking, it's a business expense. I go there and we go table to table. Like it's like, and I've been there enough now where I have freedom to like go to table. Usually they don't let people because I'm there every time. They kind of like let me slide. And I've met, 50 to 60 of my biggest relationships there.
Yeah.
So it's I've made more money from that than the business expense. So it's like a no-brainer for me.
Shit. Okay. What was your experience going there for like the first time? Like with Michael, like it's a different world, right?
One of my first times going there was with him and Sean Kingston.
Really? Sean Kingston. Okay.
Yeah, and and Charlie Walk, dude. And we were just
What?
vibing.
Charlie Walk was not there.
Yeah, he was. Was he not?
Nope.
Are you sure?
He asked me. No, he wasn't there. Sean Kingston was like, "Dude, I need you to get me the new iPhone."
Maybe that
What?
was it.
I got him the new iPhone. He like takes out like a stack of hundreds. He's like counts it out to pay me. I'm like, I guess this is what drug dealing is like.
Damn. Okay. So
you're
so
dealing
it's the
iPhone.
first dinner, right? What is it?
Anyways, Sean Kingston, whoever it was, that was the first dinner. I don't really remember. I do remember the iPhone thing. It was like, it was such a strange experience, dude. Like,
It was funny.
he needed a phone but didn't have time to get one or something. So like we came and he just like literally was just like dealing, bro.
Isn't it when you go in there, like when my first experience going to any of these nice places when we moved down, it's like it's weird because you see these executives. It's very Hollywood. Because
Yeah.
we didn't grow up like from here, and neither did you, right?
No,
It's a different.
I'm kind of like blinded by it. I feel like now because
Yeah.
it's just like such a routine. But like you see some crazy people. Like it's not just a normal dinner.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like going with your family.
It's not
to
like going to Red
Outback.
Robin.
Yeah,
It's not like that.
You're not
dude.
going
Yeah.
out.
Like, I'll give you an example. Like a couple weeks ago, we went there with Elon Musk's mom.
Okay.
Right. Across the table, like across the thing from us, is Miles Teller from Top Gun. So we brought over Mrs. Musk, like because Miles' wife was a fan, and it's like we ended up walking out like a relationship with Miles. So it's
Yeah.
like you're leveraging that. A couple months ago, I went there with a guy named Ron Meyer. You guys probably don't know who Ron is, but he was the chairman of NBC Universal.
Wow, okay.
So handled literally was the top person at all across like the parks and the movies, all that. And we were sitting at dinner with him. He also founded CAA, which is like one of the largest
Creative
agencies.
artist agency, right? Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with him. When we walk out, some guy comes over to us. He goes, "Who the fuck are you kids sitting with Ron Meyer?" Like Ron's a big name in the business. And then we talked with him for a bit. We didn't realize who he was. He walks away, and then Craig, the owner, comes over and goes, "Do you know who that was?" I'm like, "Not a fucking clue." He's like, "That's Todd Phillips, the director of The Joker and The Hangover."
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was
And
crazy.
I was like, "Craig, put me in a fucking group chat. Like, let's go." Put us in a group chat. Todd's like, "Let's meet up for breakfast." We all go for breakfast with Todd. Sat for 2.5 hours with the guy. Like, loved us, and like we loved him. He's a fucking super nice guy. Got his Instagram username changed because it was kind of shitty before. Now it's just his name. It's great. But developed like that relationship, and that's how you like build this network. Because like the problem is in Hollywood is if you want to be an actor, Kyle, you came over and said, "I want to be an actor." You go to an agent, they're going to send you out on auditions. You're one of 25,000 people. Like, let's be real. What I do is I bypass all that crap. I go directly. Like for him right now, we're doing a project with him. Just direct to like the CEO of the company. I mean, it's just easy. Like just got an intro. It's like go direct. I bypass all the noise of traditional Hollywood. Just bypass them.
So with like all the connections you have, all these people, why? Because you, at least on the internet, we see you work most closely with like Sway, like, and
I only work with two guys.
So why? Or yeah. So like those two guys from Sweat, why them out of all these and like I'm
And that's,
you know,
that's
I mean,
you and Josh.
Well,
Yeah,
let me
Josh,
give you the backstory. So I started creating Talent X, right? And I started that with Josh. Josh was my co-founder on the company, one of my co-founders. And my job at the time was literally like had a talent. We had 100 clients. And what I found myself is like getting nothing done that was like of substance. And it made me miserable. It made the talent miserable. And nothing got accomplished. And I just sat down with Josh one day and I was like, dude, like I'm miserable because what I'm really good at is building shit. And I wasn't able to build anything because you're so spread out that way. You're focused on like plugging holes that the ship doesn't sink. You're not busy developmentally focusing on people. And I started just with Josh. And, it was like focusing on him. We built Annie, brought in Bryce for that. It was actually Bryce's idea. Bryce and Josh sat down with me and said, want to build an energy drink. I brought in the operators, raised the capital, started that. Now we're in stores in New York and we're about to go into one of the largest retailers. So that's how like that kind of thing started. And then I just focused on Josh and like just developing him. Bryce was involved in it, but then Bryce, like I just realized early, Bryce is a creative genius. Like he's a content creator. Part of the problem that people don't realize is like TikTokers are not by definition content creators. Like they post with their shirts off. Let's be real. So you have to just saying it's 30-second videos. Like there's no inherent talent, right? But what I realized is the real talent is can you turn them into entrepreneurs because they can leverage their platform. And like that theory in my head was like, great, I'm going to treat Josh like an entrepreneur and not like an influencer. Yeah. What can we build together? And it's just been incredible. Bryce was a part of it, but he kind of wasn't. I could see he was miserable with it. So it's like, why would I?
He just wants to be creative.
That's who he is. Like mentally, the dude's always content. Everything he breathes and does is content. Sitting him in a meeting was hell for him, and it just was. It was evident. Yeah. Right. And like he would get frustrated by it. So it's like, dude, do what makes you happy. Like at the end of the day, happiness over money, 100% of the time. It's like, dude, do what makes you happy. Like and he does a really good job, makes a lot of money from it. So it's like, focus on your shit and let Josh kind of focus on his. Then Griffin kind of came over to me and was like I really want to put in the work.
Yeah. What did you see on that when you saw all that happening? What was your side of it? Like, what was your perspective?
I mean, like, obviously it was interesting. I got in pretty early, like, it was more like character development in the beginning and like idea building with him and Josh for a long time. Cause like during Sway, it was like wishy-washy cause we were like, just going wild. Mm-hmm. So like probably like a month, that was probably, Annie was like kind of when things were starting to like form together. That was before I moved out actually. Okay. It was whenever all that started going down. And then probably like a month in, I saw some movement happening and I went through like the breakup and everything and I just needed a fresh start. So I actually moved in. I was sleeping on his couch in his Airbnb and I left Sway and then we ended up starting that's when I first moved to the Sway Gaming or whatever. Right. It wasn't really Sway Gaming. It was like whatever. And it just started for me from there. Like that's whenever things really started to get like solid.
You had the breakup and then at the same time you saw Josh kind of building something that's going to be, it's longer lasting. You're building up equity and things that are just going to be huge as a company.
Yeah. At that point it was more talks than it was actually like.
Yeah. I mean, a big thing that people don't like when everything went down with Griffin, I mean, really didn't really feel comfortable anywhere. And he called me, he was like, dude, is it cool if I come to your house? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So he was there, stayed there for like a month, and we became like brothers. I mean, like just living together, and but the thing is, it was like nobody else, and he was in like such a negative mindset, where it was like the little things I would do, like I'd go get lunch and I'd buy him something. He like realized like someone actually cares, and it's like as much as we like argue about business and fight or whatever, it's like we've both been there for each other when we needed it. Like my dad was battling with an illness that was pretty deathly. Like Griffin was the guy I cried on his shoulder at 1 a.m. So it's like. Those types of moments accelerate time like 100x. Like I feel like I've known Griffin and Josh for many more years than I do. Like I've only known Josh for 2 years and Griffin for about a year and a half. Yeah. But it gets accelerated when like the moments of like you're in the trenches occur. It's like every time I've been through something, they've been there. Every time they've been through something, it's like I've been there. And that shit's like more than knowing people for the amount of time, right? And like that's how our relationship got built. So, Griffin kind of saw what Josh was doing and what I was doing and kind of where my head was at. I mean, I'm testing a theory. Like, I don't know if I'm right. Yeah. I'll find out. But I think I've been proven somewhat right. Josh's net worth is quite nice. Griffin's is, for his size, is probably 4 or 5x any other creator at his size. So they're doing well and they have a lot of long-term triggers that I know, like for example, our venture fund, we just raised $15 million.
Yeah.
I know that'll pay Griffin $1 million in 5 years, right? So I know, like, no matter what happens creator-wise, let's say he falls off, he still has triggers in his timeline that will guarantee him cash. And that's kind of how I think about it, because what most creators do is they blow their money on Lamborghinis, and then they think it's going to last forever, and then they're broke as fuck, and they live on people's couches. For Griffin, I know no matter what, he'll have $1 million coming in 3-4 years when he's matured. And not that he's a spender now, he's not, but just like to know you have those triggers, that's a good mental feeling, because I'm now willing to take more risks.
Is that how you see it too? Like you're building up longer term.
Yeah. I mean, I like what Michael said at the end, right? It's like you can take more risks when you know you have money. Like when we first started doing this, it was like trying to get a little bit of a cash grab and some stuff solidified.
Brand deals and monetization, basically. Was that it?
Like just finding any way I could to make like some money. But now it's at a point where we have things built up where we can, we can take risks. Like we can, if we want to do a movie, we could afford, taking a couple weeks off from social media, not doing anything.
And why can you do that now versus what you could do before? Like what changed?
Money.
Like just the amount you had?
Yeah, we didn't have any money.
Did you make all that money through brands and
Sway made no money.
Yeah, Sway made zero.
I mean, not zero, but considering like, you got to remember, like Josh and Bryce were filming YouTube, but they kept using copyrighted music.
Yeah.
Their philosophy was, doesn't matter, like the money, it'll come later. And for Bryce, I agree with that philosophy, but Josh was never, like, Bryce is an all-encompassing creator. Like, you just see him and he like looks like a creator, and the way he maneuvers even with his team is very talent-oriented. He's a super traditional, like, talent-based guy, and he's a genius at what he does. Josh was never that. He was always someone trying to, like, he was always kind of the man without a home, and he was, playing with different things to figure it out. And where he's been able, like, the thing with here is his like, one of the people he told me early on was like his favorite actor of all time was Mark Wahlberg, and now he gets to call Mark his partner, right? Like he has to call Snoop Dogg his business partner for his dog food company. He has to call Ellen his partner for his blanket company, and all these things are going to pay him dividends down the road. They're not just for now, and he gets to associate himself and be in the graces of some of the best people in the world. You become the best when you're with the best. Like, it's that simple. If you go ahead and go follow what Mark Andreessen is investing in, you will become rich. It's that simple. Like, it's not that rocket science. It's not that rocket science. Like, I invest as an entrepreneur and like a venture capitalist in what the best funds are investing in because they send me the deals because I know them, and that's it. It's not that hard. Like, everyone like thinks it's like this complicated science. It's like, no. Andreessen Horowitz or Lightspeed or Sequoia send me a deal. I vet it a little bit, and then I put money in, and then I make money. It's that simple.
Really? So Sequoia hits you up and says, "Yo, we're going to work on this."
All the time, because here's the thing. The way venture capital works is companies, let's just say TheSync. Let's just say we're raising money for TheSync, and there's a lot of investors that want in, right? Just one or two leads. So let's just say Sequoia is the lead. Then they're putting in a $600K out of $1 million check. This wouldn't happen. Like, that Sequoia doesn't put in $600K, but let's just say for argument's sake, out of $1 million, easy, right? Then they're going to be the ones that are approving like who they want in the round, along with the founder. They want the best value adds. We're a very obvious value add, right? Because we offer the full services of a typical venture fund because I'm pretty well connected in tech, but then we also offer like the social media help. So, and because our check sizes are not that big, we're putting in like 100, 150K, maybe 200. We're not a competitor to Sequoia ever because we're not leading rounds. So like Andreessen and Sequoia, they're fighting each other. They never send deals to each other unless like very one-offs because they're competitors. We're not a competitor to anybody because our check sizes are the way they are and the value we provide is what no one else can provide. The only person else is Mr. Beast's fund. We are the number one most like recruited fund by probably most tech founders.
So so when these deals come in, what does it look like for you? Are you looking through them to see if you want to invest as well?
I mean, like, when we first started, for probably 4 months, we were doing 8 to 10 hours a day of back-to-back phone calls. Like,
okay, that's a lie. It was like 6 to 8, not 8 to 10.
Oh, come on.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm putting on like child labor laws or some shit.
Dude,
they were all 18.
Yeah,
I'm 20.
They're good. They're good.
I know.
So what did that look like? You're fucking
Anyways, okay, 6 to 8. My bad.
Well, the thing is, in venture capital, you need to show like credibility and track record.
Yeah.
Right. So like what I did was we put them in there for 4 months to focus on it, build that track record up. We have 30 portfolio companies on our own as angel investors, and then when I go out and raise a fund, it's like this already 4x, this 6x. Like we already had like a portfolio to where I can go to investors and say, these are the types of companies I want to invest in. This is my strategy. This is where I want to follow on pro rata. It's called pro rata following on, which means you put more money in post dilution to get back to where you were. The point being is like I was able to go over to our LPs, which are limited partners, they're the investors, and show like a real consistency with it, right? Yeah. So it took Griffin, Josh being on those calls to learn. And now we hired a kid from, not a kid, he's older than me, but a guy from Goldman Sachs and who worked at the Warner Media Venture team. So it's kind of like a hybrid of like finance and media, who runs our fund. And we're more involved now in like deals that are already like vetted and the ones we're going in on as opposed to the original calls.
Yeah, and basically like when I see a company, it's like, can this fit into my like my channel? Does this fit my brand like naturally and organically? If they want promotion, like not every company that we invest in wants like promotion and stuff on our social medias. So it really just depends. I mean, sometimes it's just things that literally we think will work and we just like, okay, put money in. But like for an investment that wants actual posting, it just depends on like how natural is that? Does it fit like my image, my brand, where I want to go? Like what's my message?
Silly bands?
Silly bands.
That's a different type of deal. That's not a venture deal.
That's not okay.
No.
What is that?
I just can't believe that Silly Bands has made a reappearance because that was third grade back when we were.
That was huge though.
You used to get
Silly
kicked out of
bands
class.
were huge.
You used to get kicked out, but then
there's a couple of things. I mean, we might be able to do a sync. Maybe we should do a sync one.
Oh, that'd be sick. Yeah.
Sync Silly
Sync
Band.
band.
Sync band.
You know what?
Pretty cool stuff, man.
There we go. Yeah.
But you know, that's a completely different category. A little bit. It's more of like an M&A, partial acquisition. It's a little bit of a different structure. It didn't come out of our fund. But like Breaker is a great platform. We invested in Pear Pop.
Yeah.
Carrot, which is like a creator credit card. So instead of it basing off your credit for creators, it bases off your bank account and your following.
Okay.
To give you a credit line.
Wow.
So for a lot of kids that are 18 years old that have millions of dollars in the bank, they can't get credit cards or like $1,500 limits. It's ridiculous.
So it's based on your following more so.
Yeah. And your bank
Okay.
account.
So what does that? So if you have one, what does it look like for Griffin
I think
Johnson?
his
It's
credit's
$1 million.
like $50,000.
Because of your following?
Yeah.
How is your following collateral in any way? It's not like you have. It's not
No,
collateral, but
credit
not like
cards
history.
aren't collateral.
But not history of credit.
Well, the point is, it's like showing a source of income. The point you're making is it's also bank account. They detect how much you have in your bank account plus your following, so they know okay, like Griffin could make X amount of money a year. So when you get credit, it's not about really history. It's more about proof of payments, and the credit system's fucked up. I mean, I can talk about this a different time, but in 1936, I believe that there was two guys in New York that created the FICO system, and the FICO system only works in the U.S. So if you go to Canada, you have no credit.
Yeah. Okay.
No credit. So you're not a credible lender, which makes no sense. If you're a billionaire in LA, why couldn't you go to Canada and be a credible lender? It doesn't make any sense. And that goes across the world. So it's a system that needs to be revamped. And I think this, like Carrot, is a company that's starting to show that the FICO system is outdated and really stupid. But furthermore, you know, it's like Lend Table's a great one. It matches people's 401ks. So if the company pays you a 401k and you can't afford to put up the money, the first half of the collateral, they will loan it to you and a 50% collateralized loan. So like that's interesting because it allows people to make free money, right? Like money you wouldn't otherwise have. Stir is a great one. It's basically a back-end CFO for creators. You know, so it's like right now, if you get paid, it goes to the agent and the business. It's like a whole process. This just gets money sent to the system, disperses it, keeps everything filed, so you can pay taxes. Like it just simplifies the entire CFO suite for creators. You know, it's like companies like that. I mean, they're making real impact.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. This is something I'm actually really interested in talking about, but we need to cover some of the drama too for our audience at the same time.
I'm particularly curious how much truth is there to yours and Bryce's relationship in like the latest Sway
the show.
Okay,
yeah, because
before you give your side, I want to hear your perspective on it. Because tell us, like, is there
because it was uncomfortable when I watched it. It was like the funniest thing was like because you know it's a reality TV, so you guys were at dinner, you guys were talking, and you were talking to Griffin and Josh. And you were like, you know, kind of saying like your feelings on Bryce, and Josh was like looking the complete other way, and Griffin was just sitting there like, you know.
The thing is, I wasn't saying my feelings on Bryce. That's what's so whacked.
That was
like none of us walked out of that dinner thinking that at all. What happened?
It was a business, like
what happened is the first part about it was they recapped Bryce going and Bryce and Josh going to New York for the energy drink being launched in ShopRite. And Josh was telling me like, oh my God, like all the fans, they were like college kids. And like Bryce and Josh always have this like bickering back and forth of like
who's got the older fans.
Yeah.
No one wants like the young kids. Everyone wants to say they got the college fans.
Actually, it's not that for us. Like male audiences convert better. Male older audiences convert better just statistically for us. So we want the more like the bars. That's why we did the Barstool deal. because we knew that it would get us those fan bases. So like that joke, it was like, if you watch the full like clip that you're not going to release, they sent it to me today. It's in jest. It's like, oh, dude, Josh, like it was Josh's fans because like the Barstool fans of New York, like they're New York based, but like they cut it to make it look like I'm shitting on him, but I'm not. It was a joke. It was completely a joke. And then they go on later to say something like, where I was said like Bryce fucks people up. Like, because Josh was like, "What are you?" Josh, like, oh, he's
The cuts were
did get him pretty dirty.
The cuts were particularly like it was just.
I
shit,
mean,
like
I'll be
it was,
fully fucking
dude,
real.
yeah.
I couldn't give a shit about it for myself. Like, I don't give a shit that a bunch of 12-year-old Nessa fans are like, that doesn't bother me at all. What actually
This guy, dude.
What actually bothers me more is the personal relationships of this. Like, I consider Bryce a friend. You know, it affects them personally.
Yeah.
Like, but the other part about it, I think this whole thing is really funny, is they originally filmed an episode where they painted the entire narrative that Dave Portnoy broke up Sway. And then Facebook didn't let them show that because it was like already on the internet, all that information. So then the next episode is like, it's me who broke up Sway. So I texted the executive producer. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, was it Dave or me? Because it keeps changing.
Yeah, like, I just want to know.
They're like, information evolves. And now some of the guys think it was you. And I said, but they thought yesterday on record that it was Dave. So are you like, maybe you're creating a narrative? Is it possible? They didn't respond.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like-
I mean, obviously they are. I mean,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Really?
But like Griffin, the narrative though, that kind of the idea was Michael came in at a certain point. There was a little bit of a split between, and that caused like the tension between you and Bryce.
Real,
Is that not what?
To be completely real, I couldn't give a fuck if it was me. Like,
Okay.
boo-hoo. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. But if it was me, I'll take credit.
So it was Portnoy.
No, I don't think it was anything. I think it was an evolving of careers. Like, Josh was going more into business. Bryce is like hard on his content. Business doesn't really translate with like partying. That's his, I mean, this is his brand. Like, he embraces that brand, Party Animal University. Like, by the way, he makes millions on it. It's a fucking killer brand. Like, and that's a brand that I think could get retail into Zoomies, etc. Like, it's a real brand, but it directly contradicts what Josh was trying to do. And then Jaden was going to music, you know, and like he doesn't want to be a TikToker, doesn't want to be really in that YouTube world either. So he was like going his way, Josh going his way. Bryce was going his way. It's half the members.
Yeah.
Like, you have a group with half the members, like, not really wanting to be like, I guess Bryce sort of wanted to be in Sway still, but for Josh, it hurt the brand, for his brand, what he was trying to build. For Jaden, it definitely hurt the brand. None of them were really doing anything. The other guys, like, outside of those three, didn't really have anything going for them that was monumental. And just remember this was pre-Blake and pre-Noah.
Yeah.
So like it was kind of like, you know, Anthony, Griffin, and Keo didn't have that like thing where you can define them as like that's who they, you know, like for Josh it was entrepreneurship, for Bryce it was like content, YouTube, for Jaden it was music, but they didn't have that yet. And those three, so I don't know, what do you do when half the band is like not in it?
How did the boys feel about it? Like, is that how they all felt about it at the same time?
I mean, like, it was kind of weird, right? Because everything went down. Like, Josh and Jaden ended up moving out just for, you know, their own selves. And then for a minute, it was, like, Bryce, Anthony, Keo, and I. And it was, like, it was kind of just, like, whatever, really. There wasn't anything where it was, like, ever, like, actual fighting or anything crazy. It was more kind of like, wow. But we all stayed in contact, and, like, they would still come over and hang out. Like, it was still cool.
More than contact, like we saw each other every day anyway.
Yeah, it was like.
But it wasn't like you guys were all living together like
No.
it was in the old days.
Right.
I get that.
It was like
Yeah.
a slow, like, it wasn't just like all of a sudden the Sway was just like, poof. It was kind of like slowly just like getting out of it. And then like everything went down with me and I moved out and then we started like the Sway gaming. So then that's like kind of whenever Blake and Noah came in and then it was Bryce, Blake, and Noah.
Yeah.
And then that's whenever I was with like Anthony, Keo, and then Josh and Jaden were in their house, and then we ended up just conjoining, like, so it was like a weird mashup.
And kind of something that happened with you that if you're down to talk about it, that nobody ever really talked about was it seemed like the turnaround from you dating Dixie to no dating Dixie was like a week.
That bro code. That was
And
a little. Yeah.
I was always so because nobody ever talked about it.
I assert my Fifth Amendment rights under the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah.
I'm sitting
We'll
here-
send it to you.
I'm like,
So like, what the fuck happened?
I assert my Fifth Amendment right under the U.S.
You
Constitution.
do?
Okay.
Do you choose the same?
yeah, it's just touchy subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
That
yeah,
makes sense.
I wouldn't want to talk about it either. I was just
I will invoke my Fifth Amendment right.
This man is so funny.
Okay, here's a different question though. I heard you, Keo, came on the podcast and said you get the most MILFs.
That is a fact.
That I think.
That is a
How
fact.
much more MILFs than anybody
You know
else
what's
on
funny?
Sweat? Yeah.
I actually probably get more MILFs than him. Not kidding. But
And you guys are the same
he
age,
definitely
right?
gets laid a lot more. But what are you talking about? I only fuck MILFs.
Is that true? Does he only fuck MILFs?
Yeah.
You guys are the same age, right?
They come to our house. I have like
Really?
35.
Maybe
year-olds all the
not
time.
just
Yeah.
MILFs, but like.
What do you mean?
Girls of that age.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess technically I don't know if they're all moms, but they're all
What?
like 35.
35? Okay. That's pretty epic. You do have an older vibe though. I feel like you attract older women.
Yeah. Well, it's because I like 22-year-olds annoy the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I can't
Like,
see you dating
I-
a 20
well-
Yeah, can you imagine?
I had a girl over a couple months ago, and I
Let's
like,
get boba.
dude, I had a girl over a couple months ago. Like, I kicked her out. She was so goddamn annoying.
What'd you say to her?
dude?
It's just like a million questions. It's like, what am I playing 20 questions?
But what was your kick out process?
You have to leave.
You have to leave.
I don't know if you know me, but I'm not very like I don't wince
Yeah.
words.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
very
very blunt.
blunt. When someo's annoying, I tell them to leave. And
Yeah,
then
you have to leave.
The thing is,
Please
I'm
bring your mom.
self-deprecating.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, dude.
The thing is, I'm self-deprecating. Like I know I'm a fat fuck douchebag New Yorker. Like I'm not like people are like you shouldn't talk. You're fat. I'm like no shit. You thought I was skinny? Like obviously I'm fucking fat. Like I get it. So I mean it's not great. I'm having weight loss surgery in a couple weeks, but it's like people think they're like telling me this like astronomically new thing that I didn't know.
It's like get wrecked.
It's like, yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Who cares? I mean, it's like, you can say whatever you want to me.
Damn.
The kick out process is always the funniest thing because everybody has a different way of going about it. Some people are
he's
real.
a bitch about it.
Really?
I have to do it.
I
How you do
imagine
it? How
you
you
being
do it?
really nice
Well,
about
actually, I don't have to do it, but I'll have a text and be like, hello, you're late. Can we go? You know, it's
I'm like, yo, like I'll get you an Uber. Like I'll
I'm
take you home.
I'm just like, well, I also, just to be clear, you want to read my Tinder bio? Should I read it on here?
Yeah, let's read it.
My
Oh,
Tinder
yeah.
bio is fucking lit.
Damn.
Pretty good.
You on Tinder? Like,
Yeah.
You got. How does it? What's it like being fucking on like part of Swan on Tinder?
Well, I'm doing a deal with Tinder right
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get boosted too at the same
Also,
time.
Yeah.
one of my best friends founded Tinder.
Okay.
And so...
this guy.
Hey, by the way, so
You
Elon
know
Musk's
him
mom, we
really
went to
well.
dinner.
You know him really well. It's Sean
Yeah.
Rad.
Yeah,
He's
he
an LP
is.
in our
He's a good
fund.
mentor.
You know, so it's kind of like we wanted to work with him, and it's been great. So here's my Tinder bio. Non-monogamous romantic. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking for a hookup. Dave Portnoy called me the most mysterious, obnoxious human who has ever walked the world. Listen, I don't want to brag, but I once picked a movie to watch on Netflix in under 30 minutes. No, you cannot use me to get to my roommates.
Damn.
And then my Snapchat username is @Michael, so it's fucking like...
Wait, what's your water pickup line? You're like whatever % water, and I'm thirsty as
It's
fuck.
yeah, it's like
Human
I'm
bodies.
made out of like 75% water or something, and I'm thirsty as fuck.
That's what he would say. It's so.
On New Year's, this is what I was in Miami with you on New Year's. So you know what I sent it on New Year's on my Tinder? I just like mass send it out.
What?
So I buy like the super boost. I'll buy like 24 hours.
What's a super booth?
The super boost.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get like a bazillion.
Oh yeah.
I said I basically texted like probably 400 people. I said I didn't have my New Year's Eve kiss yet, so let me know if you're down.
How did it work?
Suck my dick.
I got my New Year's Eve kiss.
That's lit.
You know, it's like, look, here's the thing. If you don't put that in your bio, right, you end up having like a lot of people that just want to chat. So this eliminates like 75% of the people that just want to chat. And then from there, it's like I'm very blunt with what I ask. And it's like there's no room for confusion.
Yeah.
By the way, first of all, it documents. The reason why I do it is it documents for me that there's no like if a girl comes over and like I write, it's like
You're non-monogamous.
I'm
Yeah.
looking for no, but it's more importantly, I don't want anyone claiming anything negative. It's like rape or whatever. It's like it's very scary right now. I mean,
Yeah.
Chase did nothing wrong in that thing, and I'll go on record. I don't give a fuck saying that. But everyone went after him. Like
Yeah.
the girl didn't say anything. The only thing he did wrong was he shouldn't have blocked her. It's kind of a douche move. But the girl said I didn't say no. It's like okay, but like where's that line drawn? So for me, it's like I have very clearly documented. Are you going to fuck? Yes, great. Like I actually like people use Snapchat.
You just ask, and
He's like,
you take
"You
the
wanna
confirmation. That's very bold.
100%. What are they gonna do? You can't expose someone who can't get exposed. Like I can't get exposed because I'm open about it. You can only expose something you're hiding. When you go on Snapchat like a douche, like him, with with other girls, like that's how you get exposed because you're naturally trying to hide it. I just text. So you
Send toes. That's the same thing.
whatever.
That's
I'm just saying like you can't expose someone who is blatant. It's like you're gonna post it on Instagram. Have fun.
yeah.
I couldn't give a shit.
300 other
That
girls
is
will post
true,
it,
man,
right?
like-
And like everybody's.
What are you gonna do? Post that I text you I'm horny? Okay.
I can't argue with that.
I mean, it's just like my
Here's
DMs.
the thing: you don't hide something like you hide it. then you're gonna get exposed. Like people want to expose people. People never post my DMs because I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I'm 22 and I'm horny. Get over it.
Put that on a t-shirt.
And by the way, and if you don't want to fuck me, don't. Say no. I don't like, no problem. Don't come over. If you want to, come over.
That's kind of how my DMs are at this point too. People are always trying to expose me for DMs. I'm like, okay, post it. Like,
You don't care anymore?
No, I'm like, have fun. I was like, whatever. What are you gonna post? I like your style. Like,
Well, that was just stupid. I mean, that was just someone trying to get like.
no, but it's happened multiple times after.
I remember, Bella posted that too.
Yeah. That's what he's
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah, that's her. Like, some.
But the thing is, when
But
you're
who
the guy
would hit
who
up Bella
got
Porsche,
exposed once, you're now like the exposee. For me, I've never allowed myself to get exposed once because you can't expose something that's very open.
Yo, want to smash?
Yeah, people like send me my Tinder bio like, "This you?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Damn. You're just having dinner with Elon Musk's mom, and your Tinder bio just has.
I'm very open about it. I talk about it on Clubhouse all the time. Like I read off my bio all the time. I think it's hilarious.
So have you ever gotten with a mom and with her daughter?
Plead the fifth. You're not talking about this. Next.
Oh yeah. No.
That's
I actually have no clue if it happened or not, but we're not even getting in this territory.
I feel like it's pretty open, like pretty like open ground.
Are you just trying to get more Blue Chew sponsors? Is that what you're trying to do?
Oh no, we're already chilling on the Blue Chew sponsorship.
I get it, bro. I get
We're
it.
already chilling on the Blue Chew sponsorship. I'm just saying, like,
He said.
Clearly not chilling enough. If you're bringing it up again, to avoid this question, buy Blue Chew. There you go. Plus.
it had nothing to do with it. But I was
I know.
curious
I
about
was
it.
totally kidding.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are they all baddies that come over for Michael?
Yeah.
It's a mix.
Actually.
It's a mix.
It's a mix.
He has a different taste.
I'll have
though.
some ones and some tens. It's like really odd.
But then that's an average of 5. That's good.
No, I average more like 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would you, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I guess if you want to rate them, I don't think of it as maybe like.
But
necessarily-
they're all old though. They're all like 35.
Not all. There's like a couple exceptions, but I would say majority.
most of the girls I've seen him bring over are at least like 25 plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's slinging in the older demo.
People
man.
think I don't get laid. They're like, you're a virgin. You should get some pussy. It's like, all right, well.
Jesus.
Damn. All right.
Some of my Vegas stories are lit.
Really? What kind of Vegas stories do you have?
Oh my god! I had a girl come over to me one time in Vegas. I had probably like $75,000 in chips in my hands,
Nice.
and I was getting more money from the ATM. And some girl came over and literally grabbed my crotch. I was like, "Fuck me, daddy," and I looked at her, and I said, "Sorry, I only fuck hot girls," and walked away.
Oh my!
I was drunk as fuck, so I don't remember most of it. But like my friend like looked back, and the girl was like gaping, like just like shocked. I'm like, don't sexually assault me and then expect me not to respond.
Why did
you
you say-
grab my dick? She wasn't hot, but it's like dude, they're hookers in Vegas. They're not hot.
Oh my gosh!
Watch me get. I'm gonna get canceled for saying that, even though I got sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
It's like you're the bad guy. It's like, okay. So that's the good thing. It's like the benefit of having Bitcoin is you can't cancel Bitcoin. So it's like
So,
Someone come get this man, please. He's freaking me out over
everyone's tweeting at you about that. They're like Josh's fans are like, come get your roommate. It's like,
yeah, I feel like a lot of people see you as kind of like the manager, but the same, which you're not, but like the manager, but also like the guy that's always with the rest of Sway. But they don't realize exactly the bigger.
I
things
view
you're doing
myself as
with it.
Antichrist, but
Antichrist.
Oh my.
Yeah. So how do you know? We got to go back because I feel like people are gonna want to know. How do
So
you
the
know
drama?
Elon's
We're
mom?
done?
No, we'll go for more. But I want to know, like, how do you know Elon's mom?
because I knew her other son, Kimball.
Okay.
And Kimball, we did a photo shoot with Kimball and May really enjoyed talking to us and was like, let's hang out. I was like, great.
Yeah.
And we all hung out for dinner. It was so much
That was a Gruen connect for sure.
Yeah.
She's super nice. I mean, like the Musk family, really good, nice family. I mean, people don't realize it depends on the setting, obviously, but we've been blessed to hang out with like a lot of really big names, and every one of them, except for maybe one or two, have been exceptionally nice.
Yeah.
Exceptionally
Honestly,
nice.
yeah. I don't think we've really had a really negative encounter.
We went to Vin Diesel's house in the Dominican Republic for 3 days. The nicest guy, like the nicest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, you guys want to stay another week? He invited us, and I was like, but just curious. He's like, oh, I'm having some other guests over. I'm like, who are you having? He's like, Travis Scott and Martin Garrix. I'm like, really, man? That's cool.
Bro, dude, tell us some of the stories of where he's like the connections you've made through Michael. Like, I want to hear some of the crazy
Oh
shit.
my
you've been-
goodness.
Go look at who follows him on Instagram, dude. Mark Cuban follows him. Michael Rubin owns the Sixers and Fanatics. I mean, if you go look at who follows these guys, like that's the thing people don't realize. Like they're all like celebrities, whatever. I would say like they've met probably 50 out of the 4,000 billionaires in the world. It's like,
there's turning to like connection. What is that like? I mean, is it connections or
Mark Cuban is definitely my biggest Instagram flex. Like I've seen so many people follow him, and
that's a good question. Who is the biggest Instagram flex we have?
Mark Cuban, 100%.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Everyone, I've seen so many celebrities and people follow him, and he does not follow them back. It's like
No, Mark's not a follower. Yeah, Mark's
it's
not.
such a flex.
I've known Mark for 5 years. So Mark and I have had some funny moments together.
Yeah, that's the biggest Instagram flex. I mean, Michael isn't probably going to agree with this, but one of my favorites is Rob Dyrdek.
Rob Dyrdek?
Yeah, and I went on Ridiculous.
Dude, it's all about what you like. I mean, if you like him, go for it. I mean, I don't really understand
he got me
that,
connected with Rob, so I got to go on Ridiculousness and like hang out.
See, that's what I do. Here's the thing: if I want to get with anyone, right, just name a random celebrity, click who they're following, see who you have in common, and ask for an introduction. With Rob Dyrdek, one of my friends who founded Pluto TV, I saw he followed him. I was like, "Yo, Ilya, can you hook me up?" He's like, "Done." Put him in a group chat.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. I think that's my biggest one.
But it's not even like the co-founder. You mean the co-founders of Netflix follow you?
No, there's like a lot of business people.
The former CEO of TikTok and the second in command at Disney, like randomly will FaceTime. Be like, "What's up, bro?" It's it's
the former
wild.
CEO
He was
of
the 9th
TikTok,
most powerful person in Hollywood on Variety, like every year. It's like you just like will randomly be like, "What's up, dude?" And, like sipping some whiskey. It's like the amount of people that. I mean, today we had a call with the co-chairman of CAA, just checking in, making sure we're all good. I mean, we had a call with Roy Lee, who created the Lego Movie today. Like, it's wild. I mean, the amount of the people that we get to talk to every day and we get to like interact with. Like, we had dinner with Jeffrey Katzenberg, who created DreamWorks. I mean, like we're sitting with like legends. You're sitting with like some of the greatest legends of all time. And it's like you associate yourself with success, you become successful.
Yeah.
And if you follow in their footsteps and you watch what they do, you will win. And the fact that they're getting to sit down, I mean, if you saw who they sit down with at dinner, it's like wild.
Have you ever been intimidated with the person you're meeting? Like, what's like somebody that's actually like giving you some,
I mean, usually Michael's really good at like navigating for us and making sure we're comfortable and like kind of get an intro before. I'm trying to think like, dang,
dude, Jennifer Aniston. Holy shit!
I wish.
It's a fake photo.
That's a fake photo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's fucked. Why is that fake? I don't know
Dude.
why. I felt.
Because it's not real.
What about?
I wish it was real.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah,
That's
pretty
like
sick, yeah.
that's one that I haven't got.
That has to be the ultimate MILF.
That's the ultimate.
Jennifer Aniston's the ultimate MILF.
Like
I don't feel it.
she's my number one.
What's not to feel?
You know who the ultimate MILF for me is?
Who?
Brandy Love.
I mean, okay, yes, if we're talking like traditional MILF. And someone who's actually been titled MILF.
I've actually met her before.
Really?
But, yeah, but it's
But did you?
not that way. No, I wish.
Dude, imagine fucking Brandy Love.
I feel like I couldn't make it to actually fucking.
How long? Predictions are out.
As far as
I
that
just
Vegas
answered your
stripper, and you'd be done.
What?
I said, as far as that Vegas stripper, when you'd be done.
Yeah.
So is she number one for you?
Yeah, I just said that.
She's your number one.
And
Out
number
of-
two. And
out
number
of
two.
She's top 10.
Yeah.
She's
If
the entire top 10.
Yeah, 100%.
She's
I'd split half my money with her if she married me.
Wow.
I wouldn't sign a
No
prenup.
prenup if you were.
No, as long as it's
Wow.
as long as it's a permanent marriage contract, I'm good.
as long as it's perfect.
That's
Damn. Yeah.
because I think she's married right now.
Really?
Yeah, she's a husband.
Porn star. I feel like the husband probably.
She was
doesn't
talking
care.
about it. She was talking about it on like this. I can't remember what it was on, but she was saying like, doesn't your husband ever get mad like you fucking all these dudes or whatever? She's like, no, I make sure he has girls to fuck as well. And I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, like you're marrying someone with that type of career. You're obviously knowing what you're getting yourself into. If you don't like it, don't marry her. I mean, like it's kind of obvious.
But is there a difference on when it's for like production purposes or if it's just for like pleasure
I
purposes?
mean, I'm sure there's a technical difference, but at the end of the day, is like you're obviously cool with other people's dicks inside your girl.
Very true.
I guess when you look at it like that, it makes perfect sense.
Oh my god.
Speaking of that, we heard someone that said they
Speaking
used to
of
go
other
to
people's
Sway a
dicks
lot,
inside their
and
girls.
they said the coolest part of Sway is that you'll see some absolute dime piece, right? Like it's super attractive, and she'll come out of someone's room and talk to somebody, and then go into somebody else's room. There's like a circulation sometimes.
I'm gonna correct you on a few things. Number one, most, like 99% of them were not dime pieces.
Okay.
So I don't know who. So
Yeah, I was gonna say they're
your
hyping it
source
up, man.
already is like completely discredited.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived at the original Sway House for like 2 months, and I'll be honest, most of the girls, say 99%, were like, I wouldn't go near them with a 10-foot pole.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of LA is like, I wasn't growing up anywhere around here, and neither was Michael, so our taste is a little bit
True.
different.
And I grew up in New York. It's like, here's the thing. In LA, they want to fuck followers. In Miami, they want to fuck money. In New York, they want to fuck fame. I mean, here's fame. New York is generally a combination of like stature.
Okay.
You know, it's like power. And Miami's all money. Like in Miami, I get hit on the most. In New York, in New York, it's like, here, nothing. If I'm at, like, I'll set it up, whatever. No one gives a fuck how much money you have. It's like, how many followers do you have?
Yeah.
Like, here it's currency. In New York, it's like, how much money does daddy have in the bank account? And it's like stature and power. In LA,
Yeah.
people like me get nothing. Unless
Damn.
you gotta try really hard.
So, moral of the story is Michael doesn't think there is dime pieces.
No, I do. I'm just saying, like,
At the
it's
Sway
not-
House.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are, like, I think, like, the girlfriends are, like, really good looking. I mean, Nessa's beautiful. Addison's beautiful. Amelie's beautiful. And they're all, like, all the girlfriends, like, the ones they actually pick to, like,
Yeah.
settle down with are great.
But there's a reputation that you just have models always trying to get in. That's what like a lot of
I
people
mean,
act
no,
like that's
you'll
what it
be-
is.
You'll be surprised. A lot of them
Yes
are, like,
and no. There's moments, like, for sure. Like, there's been some really crazy moments. Like, I've came in and, like, at the old house, and we had a gym, and there's, like, 15.
that was hilarious.
Like, 15
Oh my god,
models
we
just
moved out of
working
the
out.
Sway House and we were like driving to pick something up, and like we passed by the garage. There's literally like 15 like yoga models like working out in the garage.
Like,
and we
there's
just walk in,
moments.
we're like, what the fuck? And you see Bryce in there with Josh. It's just like, how the hell did you get 15 yoga models in the middle of like Top of Bel Air? I was like, I don't know
They
how
were
this
very
happened.
attractive.
Yeah.
But it was like, but it was also just funny, like passing by to like a gym class in our garage.
But you're
was
saying
like,
that's
yeah.
rare. Like
No,
that's
yeah,
some people
that's-
feel
I wouldn't
like it
say,
happens all
like-
the time.
I wouldn't
That's
say it-
rare. That was the only time we've had yoga class in our garage.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, like, having, like, attractive girls, like, at the house, like, whatever it is, like, it's not rare, but it's not, like,
It's
an everyday
also not that they're
thing.
not attractive. It's that they're like not good people. Like they're going around. Seeking,
That's the
it's
problem.
like-
There's some- yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not just about look. Like there's some really hot girls, but it's like the way they act, the way they dress, the way they interact. It's like I'm okay. I'll go to my bed. You know. So
It's different than people the girls that grow up out of state because there's LA girls are definitely different than Washington girls for us. I'm sure different than Maryland
100%.
girls, right? And you're
Yeah,
from
the-
Maryland,
the-
right?
Illinois.
Fuck, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Illinois.
Bryce
But-
is Maryland. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But
Nice one, Kai.
I know. Oh, we gotta fuck up one thing like in the.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
But
There's
it's-
a lot of us.
trust me, that's not the only thing you fucked up. But it's okay.
Oh, good. I'm glad you can count. But that's what it is. It's different when like a lot of the girls that you meet grow up in LA and they're surrounded by. It's just a different, just the way they act, the way they
100%.
communicate with people. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that too. Like,
I know because most people here can't write, so it's all verbal.
Yeah.
Dude, I read some of these emails from like even from them. It's like, are you really this stupid? You don't know what a comma is? Like, calm the hell on.
this is gonna be the weirdest podcast episode you guys have had yet. Everyone's gonna listen and be like, "What the fuck?"
They're not gonna be able to stop listening. We're just going with like more crazy like info.
You know what?
Our whole life is like a movie at this
It's a
point.
movie.
If we were a movie. That's all right.
Real quick, we're gonna pay the bills.
Yeah,
We'll be
we're gonna-
right back. Let's do it. Real quick, we want to thank your sponsor, Manscaped. Thank you to Manscaped. If you guys don't know what Manscaped is, they are the leaders in below.
You know what?
the
I'll
waist
take the
grooming.
hint. I need a manscape, okay?
Yeah, we're just saying. Like we heard, you got a nasty happy trail, Michael. Is that true? Like,
You know what?
Yeah.
That is
If
true.
there's any benefit from this podcast, you should give people the advertising gifts.
Oh yeah. Here. Wait. Where is it?
Thank you.
That was one.
That's the nose one.
Is it even? I don't even think there's anything in there. Is there?
All right, guys. Manscaped. They have the Lawnmower 3.0. It is the greatest below the waist grooming tool there is. There's a light on it, you know, and there's a fear sometimes when I'm shaving my nuts that I'm gonna nick my sack.
Especially like me when I can't see it.
Can you? Oh, that's definitely gotta be tough. Yeah, you can't.
Just make Kai feel super. How are you gonna respond to that?
I don't know. You can't see your nutsack.
And I'm telling you, this is a real problem.
Yeah, so then you don't want to nick your nuts if you can't see them. So you use Manscaped 3.0, get under there, just shave it all off, and it's the way to go. You can agree that if you're showing up super bushy, you're not gonna go all the way through.
that is
I
true.
do it all the time. But
Yeah, but you're a different animal. We can't compete like that. We try to get all the way, but we can't, and they say no because we're so bushy. And
you
that's
say we. That doesn't include Griffin, I promise you. Yeah.
do you say clean shaven?
Clean shave all the way.
That's the way to go, because what you have is you have a light at the end of the actual Manscaped, the Lawnmower 3.0. There's no Nick technology, and as well as the very end, I put on ball deodorant. You lather it on your nuts, and it smells so good and fresh, and you don't feel like you just shaved for the last like 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's great, and it's kind of like cooling too. It kind of like cools your nuts down. It's wonderful.
Tell me more.
Yeah, well,
You want to hear more?
No, I don't.
Kai's got more for you.
all right, guys, get 20% off and free shipping with the code TheSync at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code TheSync at Manscaped.com. It's spring cleaning, baby, and your balls will thank you. All right, Kyle.
And this episode is also sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew is making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger, longer-lasting erections. Nice. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew is an online prescription service that says no to doctor's visits, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package.
When you're ready to go, it's 6 to 12. It's not even a joke. It goes straight up.
No, yeah, it's kind of like half chubbed all the time, and then right when you're ready, it just gets right.
Where do I order that?
BlueChew.com.
Got it.
The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of our licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part is it's all done online. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA, and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy.
All right, so where can Griffin get them?
So you can benefit from this extra confidence when it's time to perform. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and safety information. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try BlueChew.com free. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code TheSync at checkout and just pay $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com and use the code TheSync to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Let's get back into it. We want to ask you, all this stuff's going on right now. What's your perspective on like the James Charles, David Dobrik stuff that's happening? It's like a burning building. And I don't know. It's like a weird situation, right? These are two people that forever have been like the clean guys on YouTube and on social media.
And I'm going to pass the mic to the Grumeister.
Okay. Well, ask a specific question.
Okay, so what do you think's going on with David Dobrik right now? Like, what's in his mind right now? What do you think his manager's thinking like during this situation?
I'm not a mind reader. I just want to make that clear. I suspect that he is obviously regretting a lot of decisions he's made and who he's led in his life. I think that from a brand perspective, it's whack. Like his company Dispo raised a $200 million valuation. Like, these were legitimate, real things that he was building. Like, he had a chance to be one of the first social media billionaires. I think he ruined that. I think that's over. And I love David. He was at my birthday party. He actually did a TMZ interview about me. It's on my Instagram. And he's living nothing but nice. It's like, but it's a problem. I mean. And by the way, this is how it works. Like, things come in waves, and it's clear to me that there's now a wave upon social media of filtering out the bad people. And, I'm all for filtering out bad people. I just, the David thing, there's like a lot of obviously like weird coincidences of tweets, etc. But, there's no real evidence against him. And to me, that's a little bit of a slippery slope there. And completely getting rid of him off the face of the earth. But you know what? The truth will set you free. So as soon as the whole truth comes out, I think people generally know when the whole truth is out. They kind of feel like that sense of like relaxation and just feel closed. And I think at that point he might have a chance to rebuild. But right now it's really tough. I mean, if I'm his manager, I'm trying to figure out quick cash ways to make quick cash, and then also plan for the future when things kind of die down. But going after the impossibles of like venture capital money or brand deals, it's just not going to happen right now. Focus on the merch, focus on alternatives that you can do to make money. And I think his fan base is still there. I don't think he's lost a lot of followers. So it's not like he's still massive, but I'll never be the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge. Well, I was hearing like at the same time this was all going on, they were just posting all the videos to Facebook too, and obviously there's a whole new audience there. Like he's reaching new people on Facebook, and they're getting like 2 million views in a day, and it's a vlog from like 2 months ago, and they're posting it while he's like taking a break from all the other channels, and he's still growing at the same time.
Yeah, repurposing content.
Yeah, yeah. But that's going on. The whole James Charles shit too. That went down with him like texting all these minors. It's a theme, dude. In TikTok, it's whack. It's like the.
Let's be clear. It's a theme throughout the world, unfortunately. Yeah. It's highlighted when someone's a public figure. I think that the age of the internet, obviously puts them more at risk. You know, it's the same thing like why, you know, like, I've had multiple conversations throughout the entire Sway house about Josh and Griffin not going to parties. And it's not because I think there's anything wrong with well, obviously during a pandemic it's a little different, but just in general, the problem is you're always on camera. Everywhere you go, you're on camera. I know that in our house they're safe, right? Like I know that if Griffin and I are hanging out in my room or whatever, or in our couches, like he's safe. You know, when you go out into a crowd of people that you don't know, you're not safe, and things get taken out of context. Things become things that they're not supposed to be. You get drunk. You know, drunk people in general are influenced a lot by their environments, and you leave yourself up to doing stupid things that hurt your career long term. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's like people gotta be fucking careful. Yeah. And like the Chase Hudson story, I think is like honestly the best example, because he technically from like he got like there was consent, and you know there was no allegation of him doing anything wrong. It was like he shouldn't have blocked the person. I think that was wrong, but he was also 17.
Yeah.
Right. Like the standards are high, and they should be high. But for him to lose is to be accused of, like, when I saw the headlines, it was like he's accused of like sexual assault. That's not sexual assault. That's being a douchebag.
Yeah. It's like the blocking on Instagram, right? It was
that's complete asshole move, right? Completely asshole move, but that's not a sexual assault.
Right.
And we use the term so fluidly and easily now that it's like you're actually taking away from real victims. You know, like, I mean, when my first grade rabbi was arrested for molestation when I was in school, and like I knew people that were physically hurt. Like I wouldn't want to take away from their hurt. Like they're the ones that need to be recognized. Like those people, not the ones that are like, I regret giving consent. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like that ends up just diminishing the validity of real claims.
It definitely does. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, not only that, but it's like, holy shit, dude, it's kind of scary, you know? It's like,
let's be real here. How many of us have done something similar?
I mean,
I've never blocked, but I've like the next morning, it's like they'll text me and I'm like busy and I don't respond. Like, it happens. I mean, it's not malicious. The kid's 17. Like, I don't think he thought it through. You know,
yeah, 100%. Like, I've been in situations, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know I've been like similar, like hooked up with a girl, and then the next day it's like whatever, I'm busy or I don't text her back or like whatever. It's like, dude, that's scary, man. I mean,
but do you fear like backlash from just not responding to her though? Like you shouldn't. That's the problem. You shouldn't feel bad for just like distancing or not giving a fuck. Honestly, that's fine.
No, I think that's not true. I think you should feel like being a normal human being. I don't think you have to have like a super emotional relationship, but like ignoring is the wrong way to go about it. But it shouldn't be something that's like career ending. And we're really, honestly, it's not the media's like, there's this weird amount of like media attention and like interest in TikTok that never happened in social media before, right? Like it was so mainstream because especially then when the China ban was possibly happening under President Trump, it's just like on this pedestal, and it's caused like the minorest of things to become national news. I mean, Bryce and like Addison was so public that when things go wrong, it's like 1 million people speculating. You know, when Josh and Nessa broke up, 1 million people speculating. It's just like they're 19. Like your guys are trying to get involved in their personal lives and really, you know, like dig in there.
Would you not agree though that the media picking up, the mainstream picking up Sway and picking up everything you're doing in some way also legitimized what you guys were doing and made it bigger? Everyone knew it's like
fucking retweet, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%,
of course, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same.
It's a
double-edged sword. But you know what? Sometimes I'd rather the 19-year-old not be famous than eventually get himself accused, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, like these guys, like if he wasn't famous, he'd be living a decent life. He was going to be a nurse. He was in school, college. Like he would have been fine. I'd rather him have that than, you know, do a little fuck up, you know, and then get himself screwed over completely. So, you know, yes and no, but like most definitely it was the media that built up a lot of sway. But when the media builds up, the media takes down, you know, and that's why like I value being an entrepreneur, because I don't rely on really anyone else. It's all about what I'm building. And yes, you obviously rely on, you know, retailers, et cetera, but you're very much like building something. When you're in social media, you're 100% reliant on big tech and media and the brands. Like you're completely, that's why we did entrepreneurial stuff. That's why we built things, because I'm not reliant on any of those things I just mentioned to dictate whether or not our companies are going to be successful.
True. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't know. It's just a crazy thing because as fast as you go up, as fast as you can go down. And like, kind of like the microanalyzation at this point, it's like every time I talk to someone, they're like, if I was your age and I had a camera on me, I would have been screwed every single time.
Yeah.
But then, like, now it's at a point where the media just has it pointed where it's like, you know, we have the cameras, we have the people, like, everyone's looking. It's just, like, I don't know.
We've reported on shit that you've done before, and I don't, like, exactly remember all the times. Like, sometimes it was more positive, sometimes more negative. And, like, you have paparazzi hounding you when you do something.
I just want to make this clear. All the negatives fake news.
Okay, all of it's fake. But
Not all, but
you know what I'm
most.
saying. But like when people are following you and filming all the time with paparazzi, like, what does that feel like when you do something small and it gets blown up into this massive thing that's so wrong?
I mean, like, it's just part of the game, right? Like you said, and you were talking about, like, the media helped us grow and get bigger. But sometimes it's just like, I just wonder why people care. It's like, I don't care who someone fucks. Like,
Here's the answer why. YouTubers are built on content, right? Like, when I watch your podcast, I'm not watching for anything other than entertaining content. TikTok was built on sexual obsession. I mean, especially this part of TikTok, right? Like, it's a bunch of good-looking dudes that walk around with their shirt on. It's fantasizing. So you're going to be a lot more invested emotionally into those people that you have a crush on than people you watch for, like, random content. Like, I don't ever look up, like, Mr. Beast stories. It doesn't matter. I watch his content because it's good, right? It's a different, the emotional attachment to the people is very, very different. And it's like, but by the way, this is their media attention is similar to the Kardashians, which are very similar basis of, like, fandoms.
Yeah.
You know, it really comes down to, like, why does someone like you? Is it because, let me ask you a question. Why are there no famous fat TikTokers? You're telling me that I'm funnier than him 100 times.
It's the looks. It's what.
Right. Because I look like a shabby fat dude with a beard. So I'm not going to get the attention. And nobody on that platform has that. You know, it's like.
So you're, like, set up in this fucked way because people follow you because they love you as a person. So they're looking for the moments that you screw up as a person as well.
They don't love him as a person. They don't know him as a person. That's the thing. Like, he doesn't, like, the videos are not personalized. They're not talking. They're not emotionally no one knows TikTokers. Like, you don't know.
But he has YouTube.
But
yeah, it's a little different now, but, like, the beginning of it was built essentially off of 15-second videos.
True.
That people just saw me and were like, I want to fuck him, or, like, I think he's cute, or whatever. It's like, it's not like YouTube off of my content and who I am, and you get to see my personality, and I'm developing a 6 to 10 minute video.
I mean, let's be real. How many Renegades can you watch?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Did you hate that? Like the idea that was blowing up because we were talking to, like, Faith Ordway, who was telling
only
us,
fools hate reality. The fact of the matter is, it is.
Oh yeah, I think that girl
just
just exposed me, by the way, for DMing her.
Faith. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
I was like, okay,
Damn. Okay. Yeah. But
that's
whatever.
annoying.
why? Like, take the platform you're given and figure out how to use it. Right? Like, is he upset about it? I mean, what was the other option? He was going to go sit in nursing school. So
Yeah.
you know, like, he's blessed and whatever. Like, it's not a negative. Like, people are interested. So that was, like, my task was, how do I figure out how to leverage that into something bigger than that? And that's what we're doing, right? Like, the Barstool podcast gave Josh an opportunity to be known for something personalized and something real and something that's, like, thought out. He has an opinion. He can talk. That's why I like these podcasts, like, long-form conversation. You know, it's like that's where value comes. You don't get value from even 3-minute interviews on TV. Like, the reason why they're pretty stupid is because they're all about, like, 2 sentences, punch, punch, punch. It's not... Like, debates on TV are so dumb. It's a bunch of yelling because you can't actually elaborate on your point. Like, if I'm going to talk to you about any, like, economic point or, you know, any of these economic principles, it's going to take you time to explain it properly.
Can't
you
do it
don't
just
have
being
that
on TV
opportunity.
for 3 minutes.
That's why
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
It's why Rogan's platform blew up. I mean, Rogan's, like, he's smart, but he's not Einstein. He just asks the questions that nobody else is asking. And they're basic. It's like, why is the sky blue? Just, like, simple things that he questions, the things that you have that you just assume are to be true. Yeah. There's a lot of things that the media, that marketing, and just personal, like, just who you're around, just assume to be true.
That's why we love podcasts. You come, it's an hour where you really get to learn about the person deeper than just,
100%.
in this example, like a TikTok, right? People know more about you. Like, I'm sure a lot of people clicked on this episode being like, oh, it's Griffin Johnson. Like, I know him because I follow him on
they're clicking
TikTok.
on Michael Gruen.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just
I'll be honest, like, that's what happened with me and Griff. Like, when I met him at first, he was kind of just like another tool. And then just being serious.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when everything went down with him, like, he lived in my house, like, we actually started, like, hanging out. And then I, like, was like, this guy's actually, like, a good guy. And he was like, you know, Griffin like gives off like a tough exterior, but he's a teddy bear. And he's a guy you can cry on his shoulder at night when you're going through something. He's been there for me. Like I was saying earlier, like that stuff like exponentially grows a friendship and like accelerates it, because you can't fake that. Like you can't fake real being there in emotion. Like you can't fake that. It's palpable. And that's the thing. Like Griffin, I grew to like him as a human first. Same with Josh. You know, there's a lot of people that I just like, they're just like business acquaintances. I mean, I have two friends in the world. It's Josh and Griffin. Those are the only two people I consider like really good friends. Everyone else to me is like an acquaintance, drinking buddies. But like, who do I want to go? Like, who do I want at my wedding? Like when you think about, like, when you think of real thought and go like, who do I want at my funeral? Who do you want at your wedding? It's like a couple people. I mean, it's Josh, Griffin, like my parent. Like it's not, I mean, hopefully not my parents at my funeral, but you know, it's like hopefully I live a lot longer than them and that they live forever. But that's like a real way I think about it for me. And like, you know, when everything was going down with like Nessa and Jaden and Josh, whatever happened, like I don't, you know, it doesn't matter. I don't even know everything, but
you were there for him though.
More than that, me and Griffin sat down together. Like Josh was going through something, and he was like, he wanted wings for dinner. We traveled to the wrong place, Santa Monica, 30 minutes, then went to the right place, 30 minutes farther than that to get wings for him. And we were just in the car, and we're just like, because we want to get the best wings. And we were sitting in the car, and we're just like, if you have two friends that you really view as friends, that you know are there for you, you're lucky, you know. And it's like people that there's a verse, I think it's in Proverbs. It says, "A man of many friends will soon come to ruin, but he has a friend who sticks closer to him than a brother." Something along those lines. The point is like people that say, "Oh, I have a lot of friends," they're full of shit or they're delusional. If you have two friends that stick closer to you than a brother, you're golden. In social media, it doesn't exist.
So how much would you credit that to how you're able to get through like all the drama that went down with the breakup? Like, was it?
If it wasn't for me,
yeah, it was like 99.9%. I mean, my family there too, of course, but like
they're not in LA. It's different.
Yeah, they don't get it from the perspective of social media as much, right?
No.
Yeah.
Whenever I was staying with him, right, like Sway, of course, are my friends, but during everything, like, you know, you get whipped and then you've quit talking, and it's like I only had like really Michael at that point, and we weren't that close at the time. Like
we actually didn't like each. I mean, like he kind of got into an argument with me because when, you know, everything was going down with like Texas, I was trying to like get everyone to really just realize like they're hurting their own selves. So I was sending like a lot of the articles that were coming out to like make my point. And Griffin wrote me something like pretty nasty in the chat. He's like, "Oh, if you and Josh are so smart, why don't you two go fucking fix it?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck you, dude. Who the fuck are you?" And I just like was like didn't talk to him. And then he went over to one of my partners and was like, "Why doesn't Michael talk to me?" And I would never ignore him. Like, if he texted me, I'd answer back. But it was like I never reached out. I was like, "Fuck you. You're some douchebag." And my partner was like, you know, he's a little bit like, he's like, you kind of slapped him in the face, like in public. He's like trying to help you guys out, like shape you guys up. And you're just answering him like a dick. And then Griffin came over to me like a week before this, coincidentally, and like just said like, "Hey man, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Oh, you're good. Like I forgive you. I wasn't even like mad. It was more of like, I'm not wasting my time with a guy who's clearly ungrateful." And then like we started hanging out, and then like he broke up, and I was the first person he called. And I remember like he came to my house before, and then he went to go to see her and talk to her, and then he came out to me, and like I remember him walking into like my little like gateway car corridor, like looking down, like super sad. And I just remember like walking over to him and just giving like a big hug. I was like, "Dude, you're gonna be okay. Like things will work out for you." And that's what
we reported on that, man. Like we knew that like everything with Dixie was that was huge, but we didn't realize it was that. You know, I mean, we don't know how it affected you.
Of course, yeah. Right? I mean,
the audience definitely
Griffin's
doesn't know
the
that.
most misunderstood person on social media. Period. Point blank. End of story. And if there's one person that I would trust with my life, it's Griffin. And people don't understand who he actually is and what he's actually about and how much he puts up with other people's crap and never exposes them. Like, I mean, I know shit. Yeah. I know tons of shit that I've heard from Griffin about other people that would damage and end careers. And he's never once threatened it. He's never once been vindictive. He is as good as it gets from a human standpoint. And be honest, those are the people you want to support, and those are the people I'll make winners no matter what. Griffin, I've told him this, and he knows it. It's like he'll always have a house, like a place to stay, always a place to live.
Yeah,
I'll give him any amount of money he needs to survive and take care of him, because he's as good as it gets, and he's as good a friend as it gets. And I promise you, as you get, I've been around. And I'm young and I'm your age, but I've been working for 8 years, and I've gotten fucked over so many times by older people that are 40, 50 years old. Just like they don't care because it's a chance to make money, and Griffin's never
Yeah.
like he's always been.
That is true. Like, I appreciate that, Mike. He's gassed me up over here. But I do, like, there's been so many points throughout, like, my entire career where I was, like, always, like, the nice guy people would come to, like, and then they end up screwing me over. I could literally, like, I would say out of all of, like, the top TikTok group that we run with, I could probably wreck about 80% of them.
Yeah.
Just, like, with stuff I would never, like, ever.
Yeah.
That's just not who I am. But, like, it's just crazy to me how I've been treated with some of the... I just don't think they realize some of the things that, like, has happened, and, like, they just don't remember, they don't know. But, like, yeah, I mean, it's just... I kind of am the guy that gets screwed because I never play, like, hardball back. I just have always, like...
That's what by the way, that's what I do. It's
Yeah.
like when I see Griffin or Josh get attacked.
You comment, like, you get
Well,
post
that's
screenshot
because
on
I'll-
Tea Room. You're
like-
defending Griffin. You're... Yeah.
I will... Someone fights with Josh or Griffin and it's uncalled for, I will fuck them up. No problems. And it's not physical because I'm not a physical guy, but I will fuck up their careers and I will make them a living hell. No problem.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Look,
Scary
I've
thing.
got, I mean, that's the benefit of being rich. I have a lot of lawyers and a lot of relationships. And, you know, like if it happened. Somebody was a dick to Josh and I called up a friend of mine who's a big CEO and he may have lost a couple $100,000.
Just from, like, insulting Josh? Like, how does it... I
Well-
mean, I guess it's bigger than that. You're actually, like...
I can't say the full story.
Okay.
But I told my friend, I'm like, you're going to work with a guy who is making fun of my best friend publicly? Like, no. And he's like, of course not. You never know who knows who.
Yeah.
You never know who knows what. And people should watch watch what they say. And I fall victim to, I fall problem to that all the time. You know, but like people look at me, I'm just like a fat dude who wears an undershirt every day. And they like to assume that they can fuck with me. And then it's like, try me.
Yeah.
So if you had to do a marry, fuck, kill with Josh, Griffin, and Elon Musk, how would you go about that?
Come on now. If he...
I don't traffic in fantasies and futility.
Hey,
It's not really a fantasy. It's just like
if
a
you marry
theoretical.
Elon Musk, I won't be mad.
This is like I'm not answering that question.
Fair enough.
Dude, Johnny was like, we have to
You could have
ask
asked
him
a
that
better question, by the way, and been like, you know.
We also heard you... wait, so did you hear how much Bitcoin went up today?
No, how much you go up?
No, I'm kidding. That was fucking... Wait, who told us we had to ask that? Johnny.
I don't check daily Bitcoin prices because it doesn't. The thing is, it's like unrealized returns because you're not selling.
This is why.
So it's like when it drops 20%, I don't get pissed. When it goes up 20%, I don't get pissed. So you can't have it, like
Why
Jeff
would you
Bezos.
get pissed if it goes up 20%?
Because it's going to go down the next day and then I don't want to be sad. No, I'm saying you don't want. Here's the thing. Jeff Bezos had a great quote. He said, don't get really excited about an earnings report because if the next month it goes down, then you have to get really sad. And that's not productive for a company, right? So same thing with Bitcoin. Like I don't look at the day-to-day return because it went up 20% today, so I'm really happy. And it goes down 20% tomorrow, and I can't have my day be ruined. I can't have my work be ruined, so I just don't look. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm holding for 10 years. Like it's going to become the dominant currency, and I'm going to keep it. So like whether or not do I look like every once in a while and be like, oh shit, it's at 60, yeah, whatever, sure, it's cool. But I really don't let it emotionally touch me.
That's why Johnny wanted us to ask you.
Johnny who?
Johnny from Sway. What's his last name?
He's great.
Oh,
Guaz.
Johnny? Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah. He's great.
He sent us a screenshot and goes, you need to ask Michael these questions to piss him off.
he's
Piss me
funny.
off. You won't piss me off. Ask me anything. You won't piss me off. I don't really care.
I don't even know what I can ask you. Oh. Fuck, marry, kill? Dude, I'm so shit at coming up with these. What?
That was like the worst example. Like
I don't know
Josh
what he thought
Griffin,
that he thought it was
Elon
like an inside joke. I don't know, but
Can you give
dude, like, what do you
females?
mean? Like, what kind of question is that? Why would you put Elon? Like, what's the premise there?
It seems like Elon is. You're friends with Elon, and
Friendly, but
I mean, you can kill me. It's fine.
no, but it's like.
I think the joke was that you like those are the three people that you love the most in
I
terms
don't
of.
love Elon Musk the most. That's what I'm saying. It's
I
like
know,
a
but
really bad
that's
example.
the joke is that like
right, but you could have
talk
picked someone I actually like.
we have no insight.
I would have no idea.
I
So
think,
I was
here's the little known truth. Elon's technology is not the best. Elon's an expert marketer.
Yeah.
There's actually like a lot of better technologies out there for everything Elon's doing, including cars, including spaceships. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a genius engineer, but like you talk about impact in the world, he will not be the highest impact in the world. Like there's a company called Anduril, which is literally creating Iron Man. It's created by, you ever heard of Oculus? Oculus?
Yeah.
It's the same founder of Oculus. He now created a company called Anduril. It's like the top military defense tech company. Like that company will have more to do with the ending of the world than Elon Musk. So it's like people use Elon as like this like massive like innovator, and he is, but the real innovators are the ones you don't know about. I mean, Richard Branson's an innovator that you probably don't even know, but he created Virgin Galactic, Virgin Atlantic. I mean, Chamath Palihapitiya, Naval Ravikant. I mean, the list is really much bigger than that. I mean, like in terms of global impact, there are some amazing people. Peter Thiel. I mean, Peter's genius.
Yeah.
People overestimate like the power of marketing and associate that with intelligence.
A lot of people see like they look at Elon. They also look at Chamath. They look at what these people are doing. They're dominant on Twitter. People are aware of what they're doing. People follow Richard Branson. People follow.
Yeah.
It's not the same as Elon, of course, but like it's not like they're completely in the dark.
Let me tell you this: comparing Bezos to Elon is like comparing a shot of water to a pool. It's like what Bezos is doing in terms of global impact.
Yeah.
Puts Elon to shame, and Elon will tell you that. I mean, it's like the amount of things that Bezos does. But Elon's the best marketer in the world. Elon is the best marketer in the world. Period. In the story.
Yeah. I heard some crazy shit Amazon's doing with space, but
Amazon's everywhere. You are
everywhere.
People you don't like. There's Sundar is a guy named CEO of Google. These guys are controlling everything you do. The amount of data that they have on you is more than you have on yourself. It's the way the data streams are going, dude. It's wild, and it's incredible. When you go listen to these congressional testimonies on the big tech, it's scary. But Americans don't watch it because they don't have the brains to like understand it, so they can't sit for 3 hours. But try one of them. Sit down for 3 hours, and you will never use your phone again. It is scary. People go like, "Oh, why do you have VPNs?" Like, you're scared. It's like, "Yep, I am." You don't like it? Tough.
Yeah, but you're also. I mean, you guys are both some of the most public people there are. At the same time, like as much.
It's not about that, dude. Like they're tracking everything you know what? Your phone's listening to you every word you say and processing it.
I'm sure it knows everything I've ever done on my phone. Like,
Well,
I'm pretty.
That's no brainer.
Yeah, I know, but
the
like,
fact that it's recording you and processing that. Like, how do you think Alexa works? Everything you say is being processed for you to say, "Hey, Alexa," right? So think about that. That means that every single word you say is being processed to recognize when I say, "Hey, Alexa." You think they're just using it for that? You think it's not being recorded for data purposes? Of course it is. You like accept when you click accept on all these like terms of services, you're like signing your ball sacks away.
Yeah.
Like I refuse to like open up an iTunes account. Go read that terms of service. Have fun.
I'm in a mindset where it's like I understand I have no like privacy in terms of my information. Everything's completely accessed.
That's how the Russians get into your election. I mean, that's just the facts. The reason why we get hacked and we are the most targeted nation, I mean, obviously because of power, but also because we have like the attention spans of goldfish.
Americans are pretty easy to hack.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
but the thing is, like, here's the problem: technology makes the delta between brilliance and idiots much wider, right? Because technology allows you to be not you. I don't want to target you, but people to be bigger dumbasses, right? It's like the top technologists that are creating the tools that allow you to be dumber, but then the dumber people are getting dumber and dumber because they don't know how to read.
Yeah.
So the delta of society is getting more and more and more. You want to talk about where the economic system of the United States is going? The gap is going to keep widening. It's people are like, they don't like big tech is going to control the world. I mean, dude, Zuckerberg and Bezos have arguments to be more powerful than the president of the United States. That is scary.
I mean, for sure they are, right?
I mean, dude, I don't know about for sure, but it's like when I watch Congress try to like break up a monopoly of Facebook, I just laugh. It's like Bezos can blow you up in 5 seconds and no one will know. It's like you're talking about people like militaries buy the technology off of technologists. Like you go to top military defense companies, they're buying it. So like essentially other people are the ones creating it. It's like Palmer Luckey owns Anduril, can arm a militia by just like handing out guns in LA that he creates. It's like, yeah, could he blow up the fucking government? Like, I don't know, maybe.
So are we fucked?
Sounds like it, dude. You just see me walking around in an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo.
I mean,
this is exactly.
Here's
That's
the thing.
got.
Fools think that regulation and legislation stops big tech. What actually stops big tech is more big tech. That's the weird thing. It's like what's going to stop the world from going under is people like Elon Musk, like you said, that are going to create alternatives. Like the globe as it is today, I don't think can sustain for another 100 years. But technology will allow us to not need to, right? Like pollution. I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't do more to help the environment. We should 100%. But like where it's really going to happen is innovation. Innovation is going to help fix a lot of the problems that we have today. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't do the minor steps today to make sure that we're doing the best we can. But like innovation helps innovation. It helps innovation. Like that's how it works. Bitcoin is an innovation of the economy, right? It's gold 2.0. It's everything just innovates on itself, innovates over innovates. The dollar was tanking. There's a massive amount of unrealized. I'm trying to think of how to word this properly. A lot of unrealized inflation that we know will happen because here's the problem. We talked outside about stimulus checks. You got a stimulus check today because of COVID, right? Great. But where do you think that money's coming from?
I mean, it's the Fed just printing money.
Right. So essentially your dollar is going to lose buying power. But here's the real problem. The government has not actually realized the inflationary rate. So the dollar itself right now hasn't inflated. But they've printed 30% of the U.S. money supply in the last
This
year.
year, right?
So when that hits, that can of Dr. Pepper will be $5.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you're
It's
talking
the same
about,
idea with the fact that in the 70s you could buy a house for like 75 grand, and now you're looking at a place that, you know, it's going to cost you $600K to
That's
move
why
in.
you want assets that rise with the tide. Real estate is the best asset because it creates cash flow, right? Like the thing is never spend cash flow. That's like the rule. If you're investing into real estate, the one rule is never spend cash flow, because this is how it works. I want to buy a house. Let's say this house. Let's say for argument's sake, it's a $5,000 mortgage, right? You have to pay, $5,000 a month mortgage. It's a $200,000 house. How much money do you think I have to put down on the house?
You have to put $5,000 down.
No, you put down 20% of the house value.
Okay.
Right. Think about that.
So,
right?
but that's so for people that don't understand, like you're not spending all your money right there because you're paying a certain amount up front, and then the rent that you're collecting from that is allowing you to pay the monthly payments of the mortgage.
That's what I'm saying. So what ends up happening is I could actually put this house up for rent, either make a profit or make no, or make even, usually.
A couple bucks over sometimes.
And then you're essentially buying an asset for 20 grand that's valued at 200K. You print money. It's easy. Like, by the way, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. I can teach it to you, but never ever spending $1. I'll tell you how. Very simple. You basically buy the rights to leases on like Craigslist. Easy to do. It takes a lot of time. You got to like search through, find ones, like look at Zillow in the market areas, compare. You're signing the doc. You have the right to buy it. You're not even signing that you're paying it. Just a right to buy it, and then you sell the right to a guy who doesn't have the time to spend the time on crypto, spend on Craigslist. You could be flipping houses like that without ever spending a single penny or ever leaving your house.
Yeah, I think people are starting to realize more so that the key to financial freedom in this world is just owning property. It's like it's the most pure asset. Renting it out and building up on top of that.
It's not the key to financial freedom because it's a tied up asset, right? So the actual financial freedom is cryptocurrencies, is stocks. You know, if you put like people, how much money do you have in your bank? Just like give me a round ballpark. It doesn't matter.
In my
Let's
bank
just say
account?
50 grand. Right? Just say 50 grand,
Okay.
right? Cash is the only way to guarantee yourself that you're going to lose money. 2.5% every year inflation minimum in the U.S. government. So you're basically telling yourself like it's literally the worst investment you can make. I'd rather you like just invest it, but like you're going to if you put your money in the stock market into the S&P 500, you're going to guarantee yourself like a 7-8% return 10 years later. Like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So why the fuck would you put your money in your bank where, by the way, your money in your bank, the bank doesn't have? You know, how much do you think federal regulation requires a bank to have of cash on hand?
What isn't it like you have to have? Is it 10%? 10% is what you have to have.
I think federal regulation is 30, but you might be right. I'm not 100% sure on it. But either way, which means is like, you know what the bank's doing with your money? They're making money for themselves, and you're getting fat L's.
But that's the argument, is that you invest in crypto because it's a hedge against inflation. It's like
you invest in crypto because it's the future of the economy. You cannot sustain the dollar.
But
you should look at it. You should look at a company called WorldCoin that Sam Altman, who is one of the top AI technologists, is founding. It essentially gives every human being in the world one coin, and then investors get to buy more and shit. But that has a possibility to become a world-dominating currency. Here's the problem. The U.S. dollar right now is the world currency, but as it inflates and as it needs to default and loan with China or pay it back, the dollar will either inflate or the U.S. government will have to default on the loan. Now, take that step back and you go, why don't we just create a global currency that is unhackable, uninflatable. You trust the government
No.
to tell you how much your money's gonna be worth? You know what happened with the dollar? The dollar used to be fully backed by gold, right?
So Nixon, right?
No, that's not true. 1937, it became half unbacked. Nixon fully took it off the gold standard, but it was always half. You know what fiat currencies mean? What a fiat currency is?
It's a currency not backed by a reserve asset.
Correct. Why the fuck would I value a piece of paper that some douchebag in a White House is telling me?
For sure.
And like, dude, I don't trust Trump. I don't trust Biden. I don't trust Obama. I don't trust Bush.
Yeah.
I don't trust men. Human beings are flawed. I don't trust a group of bureaucrats. By the way, unelected bureaucrats. The Federal Reserve is appointed by the president.
That's what's fucking crazy.
It's unelected bureaucrats to tell me what my dollar's gonna be worth. Granted, they are confirmed by the Senate, but like whatever. I mean, it's politics, dude. You confirm the party. If the party's in charge, like Trump's nominees weren't vetted when it was a Republican Senate, and Biden's things are not all going through, even though some of them are nuts on both sides.
So for our audience, like that's, they're very new. I'm sure that a lot of them have like pretty low financial IQ. They're getting into that. Like, what advice do you give them? How do they get started in terms of
put $5 a week into a Robinhood account for stock, and a $5 account into a Coinbase account or a Gemini account every week,
and just don't touch it. Just have it reoccur.
Never touch it. Here's the thing: if you buy one Bitcoin, you're set for life. Here's the theory of Bitcoin, right? The essential theory, that's what people don't get. There's the actual theory of Bitcoin, which is the US dollar can't sustain a currency. We need to take over its place. It's a lot easier to use a currency that will essentially be a global currency, right? And it has an exact accounting of assets, plus it can be broken down like that into, I think 13 decimals, right? Great. Imagine this. Imagine if I then said, for every Bitcoin, I'm going to create these pieces of paper that represent you own 1/1,000,000th of the Bitcoin, kind of like going back on the gold standard. What's going to likely happen is banks will eventually take and say, we're going to put an accrual of this unit of 150,000 of these will be worth a Bitcoin when the Bitcoin becomes the global currency. So you'll be able to spend even more than the decimal because every Bitcoin will be worth hundreds of thousands of these paper pieces or digital paper pieces, right? Think about this one thing more. There's only, forget how many millionaires there are in the world. There are less Bitcoin than there are millionaires in the world. So if you have the fundamental belief that Bitcoin will become the global currency of the world, which I do, then one Bitcoin will make you more wealthy than a lot of the millionaires that are around today.
I think the thing that they say is like, if you own one Bitcoin, there's a lot of people who can never own one Bitcoin after that. It's that like it
100% correct.
Yeah.
100% correct. So for me, I'm never selling my Bitcoin because I make enough cash to where I don't need to sell them. And if Bitcoin ends up going to shit eventually, like color me wrong and send me to the fucking dungeon, but I'm not wrong. Whether it's Bitcoin or whether it's XRP, which it won't be, or Ethereum has a chance to become something big, it's going to be a global currency with an exact amount of backing, that with an exact amount of quantity that'll take over the global currencies. Yeah. We're in for a real rodeo, and the people that are saying like Bitcoin's fake are the same fools obviously that said it at $5, and like good people like Kevin O'Leary, Anthony Scaramucci have come around and said, you know what, we were wrong on Bitcoin. Like, it's soaring. It's here, man. It's here to stay. And people that are still doubting it or don't understand it are the fools that didn't hop on any of the waves that work. Didn't hop on the technology wave. It's like, this is not an internet bubble.
Is it too late for like the audience that wants to? No, it's not too late.
It's never too late, man.
Wait,
think about it.
Start learning? Did you start learning about crypto through Michael? Like, where did you start in terms of your knowledge? And then where are you at now in terms of like financial IQ and?
Yeah, so I bought my first Bitcoin because of him, and that was right before the election. So.
Oh, that was fun. Election night, we left
election
to San
night,
Diego.
okay.
Yeah.
And I said, here's two things you gotta do: buy Bitcoin, buy Smith & Wesson. I said, I bought a few $100,000 of Smith & Wesson. I made so much fucking money. Yeah. Because here's the thing.
Everyone bought up guns.
Look, I don't care if you're a gun guy or not. Very simple. If Biden wins, every Republican's going to buy guns because they're scared. And if Trump wins, people are going to buy real guns. It's like it was going to go up regardless. Like, it was going to be good because that means like another 4 years of no banning of guns. So it was going to skyrocket regardless. And I knew it. And I texted like every billionaire I know, I'm like, buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. Some of them did, some of them didn't. And it's like, it was obvious to me. The more government is unstable, the more Bitcoin goes up. The more less faith in the U.S. government and the dollar, the more Bitcoin will rise.
That was $16,000, by the way.
You
It was
invested
actually
14,000.
14,000.
Oh, so
but
it was
then you
at
bought it a few
14,000
days
at that
later.
time?
No, I was 14,000. I told Josh to buy Bitcoin at $850.
Okay. But what position were you in when like you started learning about it and he just told you should buy Bitcoin?
No, I mean, I'm saying it for years.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
like,
But
Yeah,
I'm saying, but
he's-
your introduction for it.
He told me for a really long time. He started it whenever we were first in Sway. He talked to us about putting our money into Bitcoin. Like that.
When I'm drunk, I'll run around talking about magical internet money. Do
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he told us about it, and
Wine
I
night
never.
with the Gru.
you remember that on my birthday?
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
like at a restaurant. I was like pissing off the waiters. Apparently, they talk about magical internet money the whole time.
Yeah, he was. Like, he talked about it a lot. I just didn't take it that serious because I didn't understand it. And then, like, I saw it go from when he first told me it was, like, a couple thousand to, like, it was,
Yeah.
like, 14, 15,000 when he told me again before the election. And it, like, really made sense to me.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'm like,
Let me
okay.
put this into perspective. 2016 election night was $850. 4 years later, we're at $60,000.
Yeah. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
It's amazing what smart people can do.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is the great equalizer of society. Takes away power from the bureaucrats.
Yeah.
Takes away power from the government. The government's job is to do one thing: protect and serve the population. They don't do that. So it's time to abolish a lot of the systems we have in place. The government doesn't serve the people.
That's true.
The Constitution didn't fail us. The way we've treated the Constitution has failed us. The Constitution is the most durable document in the world history. And if you look at the way they created taxation, the rules on taxation, what the actual scope of the job of the federal government is, it's exactly right. And you know why it was created that way, by the way?
Why?
Was because it was meant to be that if different states had really different worlds, and what that was gonna do was force people to have Republican and Democrat states because they're going to go to where they really are. The problem is the federal government is so overreaching now that really living everywhere is the same. Like a little bit of tax difference, but like really everything's the same. Because like you go in Florida, even though Florida has no state tax, you're still paying a shit ton of federal tax. Like really wherever you go, you're living in like most of the same laws. So like if a Democrat goes to Texas, they don't feel any different. If a Republican goes to California, they don't feel any different in a real way. So you're actually like you're not, the purpose of the states and the purpose of the union is not here anymore. Like people need to read the Federalist Papers. Like it's unreal, like the amount of historical misinformation that is spewed. You know, like you can say everyone about guns. It's very clear from the Constitution and from Heller versus DC and Cayetano that what the rules of the gun should be. Now you can go ahead and say that should be wrong. Repeal the amendment. You know, I happen to think that guns should have like technology is going to solve the problem. I think like fingerprinting.
Oh, what about grip sensors? That even
That's what
Bush
I'm
wanted to
saying.
do that. Andrew was
Well,
talking
that's
about
what I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm all for that, and I think that's important. I think Republicans need to get the fuck up and start doing that because they're not helping their own cause. Being like, I love my guns.
Yeah.
They're not helping their own case. I'm all for protecting ourselves. I own a gun I have a gun in my house in Texas, and I'm all for protecting yourselves. However, I don't want people getting shot and killed. And there are simple methods we can do. We live in the 21st fucking century. You don't need to use a gun that was used in 1776. Like, let's all grow the fuck up. Like, technology is going to solve our problem but the problem is it's all about polarization because that's what sells. You know, it doesn't sell to say like, here's a simple solution that we can all agree on. It doesn't sell.
Yeah.
The bases don't want to hear that. So instead it's like, my guns. And it's like, we hate guns. It's like, dude, guns are important to protect yourself. Let's put sensors on them to make sure that no one else can shoot my gun. And like, let's get on with life. It's not that hard. The technology's around. The companies that have done this, by the way, they all don't make money or go out of business because marketing it is impossible because the government does not want to allow us to use them because it doesn't help politics. How much of politics in the U.S. is about politics versus about really helping people? The answer is most.
Yeah.
Like the Georgia bill that everyone's complaining about, nobody has fucking read it. Because when I did, I realized everyone's full of shit from both sides. Everyone's saying you can't drink water, right? That's the big thing. So that's not actually in the bill. What actually is in the bill that political operatives of party cannot hand out water to try in the attempt, and I think the law is kind of written dumb, but the idea of it is to make sure that you can't sway a vote by buying the vote. being like, look, we're the people that give you the water. So the idea is like the election workers, the poll workers can do it. You can bring water from home. The idea isn't to make people not to starve on the side. It's very simple. Do not allow government interference and political operatives to affect the election cycle.
Yeah.
I don't care who wins. I want it to be the voice of the people. And that's all that matters to me. You know, like, I'll be honest, the world's fucked regardless, and we're all screwed no matter what. And my life hasn't changed under Biden, hasn't changed under Trump. It's been pretty consistent. Yeah. Right? Like, the economy's been the same. I mean, it's been roaring since Trump. It's now roaring in Biden. Like, people credit the president with most things. They trust me, they do dick. They don't do shit.
Yeah. Wow. I learned the most for sure in this.
Definitely
a
whole different.
Your whole audience is gonna be sitting here like.
You can cut all this out.
No. Our audience is gonna be like, they're just gonna learn new shit. That's what it is. I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on all the stuff that's going on with the boxing matches too? We should cover some TikTok
I think the
stuff, too.
boxing match is interesting. I mean, obviously the main show is gonna is Bryce. Like, no offense, but no one competes with Bryce when it comes to creating content besides Jake and Logan Paul. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, the McBroom guy, I've seen his like a little bit of his socials. It's brutal. Like, he sucks at marketing it. Like, everyone else on there, I haven't even seen them do anything.
Danny Duncan? What about Danny?
I think I don't think he's very passionate about this. Like, I think he's really good at social media. I just haven't seen him do like a whole lot of like breaking stuff. Like,
he doesn't really collab with it. He does his own thing.
Yeah, like he's just really good at doing his own content. Like, something like this I don't think it's his wheelhouse. Like, I mean, this
is Bryce's thing. This is what he lives to do.
Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting his content because I have no right, because my content is like been TikTok, so it's like whatever. But like, Bryce was like built for this. Yeah, like this is like what he does.
Bryce doesn't commit to a lot of things, but when he commits, it becomes his life, and he's taking this super seriously.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's practicing every day. The guy, like Bryce and Griffin, actually the same. They actually, like, when they set their mind to something, they don't feel pain. Like, Griffin did an obstacle course the other day. Like, it's like a crazy, like, military obstacle course. And he beat every record there, beat everyone else, and then fainted. But, like, in the moment, you can tell, like, this guy's not even feeling anything. Like, he's just, like, numb. And then he fainted after and, like, almost died. But the bigger point is, like, him and Bryce, like I know Bryce will win the fight because he can have a broken fucking leg and he'll still be kicking. Yeah. And then he might have his leg amputated, but he will still kick with a broken leg.
He seems like an animal. Like, he just seems like a beast. Like,
he's
just
go. I mean, people always like there's a few times where he's like gotten in my face, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fight you, dude. Like, you're gonna knock me the fuck out, kill me, and then throw me to the wolves and have your dog eat my leg. Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to go near that.
Yeah. No. Well, it's because like, I mean, if it's like a social media or influencer fight, you know, half the people aren't even gonna get mad about it. But I feel like Bryce gets, he gets mad. He gets,
There's no such thing as Bryce not taking something incredibly personal in a good way. Like when he's in something, dude, he's in it, and that's a skill, man. I mean, you're talking about somebody who is gonna transform YouTube in a real way. You know, he's like, and he's creating his own path. I think very different than even Nelk and Danny Duncan. I think Bryce is like a big part of the future of social media. But it's going to be very content-heavy focused as opposed to entrepreneurial, and I think it's commendable.
Bryce is carrying this whole thing, in my opinion. Like, and I'm not saying it out of like just.
He's carrying everything he's a part of. He's carrying the Sway Show because it fucking sucks cock. He's carrying the fight.
Why do you think it sucks cock? You were talking like why don't you?
Why?
Like
because it's absolutely awful.
Do you fuck with it? They're filming you every day of your life, right? Is it not your show?
No, we dropped out of it.
We dropped it.
You dropped it. Who makes it?
Wait, so there's not gonna be another
company called
episode?
Bunham Murray. I call them Bunham Shitty, but I actually, like, in emails I've called them Bunham Shitty to like other. It's funny, but it's on Facebook Watch.
And they also posted to Sway LA. You guys.
Yeah,
well, it's on Facebook, which is Instagram. So you know, it's like they're the Bunham Shitty is the production company. They've done like the Kardashians. They haven't had a hit since that, and they probably never will because they fucking suck. But everyone there was like the biggest bunch of like.
What made that process so bad then? Like
when you have a manager girl working for the production company that calls people at 1:30 in the morning drunk as fuck, probably like not exactly the most professional.
What does she call about? Like,
it's just muttering. She left a voicemail on Bryce's assistant's phone at 1:30 in the morning, just like muttering.
That didn't make sense. Like,
it was like whack.
Like, how did your?
It sounded like the devil possessed her and then threw her back on Earth. It was really weird.
How did like your daily life change when they were filming it? Like, what did that look like day to day?
I mean, like, to be honest, it wasn't supposed to change. It ended up being a little bit soft scripted because, like, I mean, to be honest, like a lot of the, like, we just wouldn't like get there on time, or I mean,
dude, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. They filmed an episode, right? And they was about to break up a Sway, and it's all Portnoy, and then everyone's they do interviews, right? And they
do the confessionals after, right?
No, but they egg you on to like say what they want you to say. So it's like they ask Josh, you're like, why does Michael come here if like Bryce and don't get along? And he's like, because you guys lie and say shit, and then he wants to make sure it doesn't happen. Like they try to like paint narratives. So they painted this narrative that it's old Dave Portnoy broke up Sway, right? Great. They showed us the episode. We all watched it. Facebook ended up saying like we'd rather have episode that's like not on what's already on the internet. So they changed the narrative. So it's now I'm the villain. Great. So I text her. I'm like, I told you this. I says earlier. I asked her, what the fuck? Oh, things evolve. It's like, you mean your narrative evolved because the first half didn't work for you? It's all narrative based, and they lead you on, and they get people to say what they want to say, create infighting. Like they're drama provokers, and it's like, why the hell would I want to be at the liberty of a bunch of morons?
So, yeah, I mean, like I think the thing that did it for me was the dinner that you and Keo went to.
By the way, more than that, you know what happened that day? They're sitting in the morning filming with Elon Musk's parents, Elon Musk's mom and brother, and then they're like, double date time. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's like, can you like? Okay. Are you fucking serious? Like, is that what we're doing here?
Well, it's like you guys went on a double date, and then what was it? You guys text each other or some shit, and I'm like, this has got to be the worst fucking TV ever.
Well, not only that, but they fucking framed it to where I was like calling the girl old.
More than that, Suation. It's like what? Like
she's the same age
fucking
as me.
12.
Like, it was like a joke, right? So it was like joking about like being old because I said my age first. I'm like 22, and she's like, oh, I'm 22 as well. And I'm like, oh
Dude.
man, you're really old. Like. But like they cut it to where it just makes me seem like a complete like douche.
Dick.
Yeah.
If this show, this show were to close today, I think everyone would sing "Kumbaya" and be really happy. It's like the most awful thing that has ever happened to my life. The most awful things that ever happened to Griffin's, Josh's, and honestly into like most of the group. And I really hope every one of those producers go to hell and have a great time there because it's where they all belong. And you know, it's just a sad part of life that people like get off on other people's like they're narrative creating. I mean, it's blatant. Like me and Bryce have never fought until the show started, and to be honest, I think it's sort of entertaining. But it's also like they're affecting personal relationships for money, and like to me, that is not something you ever do. It's like completely immoral. And I'll name the people there too. It's just a bunch of like losers. I mean, that's just the truth. Like they have not had a hit in 12 years. So I'm glad. But now that Kardashian's over, they're like looking for the next thing that'll make them some money.
So are you guys like
how awkward after like the dinner or like just people like because they were
dude, it's so awkward. Like one of the producers like would go over to Griffin and go over to Keo in front of Griffin and be like, "You're my favorite, Keo." It's like, bitch, do you have a brain? You don't tell talent for other talent that they're your favorite. And she doubled down on it like 4 times and then did it again later. It's like cuckoo. It's like you don't do that.
So are you like mic'd up the entire time? So they're catching everything you're saying too, right?
Dude, I'm not kidding. I've seen cats that are more professional than these producers, and it's really, I have it all documented too because I email them every time. They get mad at me like I emailed one of the staff, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? And then the executive producer emails me and goes, oh, don't talk to my staff like that. I'm like, how about you don't talk to my talent like that, stupid schmuck? Like what do you like? What the fuck? And he's like, next time lodge a formal complaint with me. I said, consider it lodged. It's like they made me the villain because it's like everything they lie through their teeth. They promised like a bunch of shit in the beginning of the show. Like, we're not going to do this. Like, call time was supposed to be at 9 o'clock, right? So it's great. We have like dinners, meetings, and you fit any streams. Then like, call time's at 12:30 because it's better. Better for who? For the guys that want to sleep late? Not my problem. Not Griffin's problem. Not Josh's problem. So let us out. So they had to like fight them. I'm telling you, like I had one time you heard me yelling. They all thought I was like dying. I yelled so loud at them. I said, "You guys are dumber than rocks." Like it's on. I've
check on them.
I've met pet rocks that are smarter than these people. And
do you share his thoughts towards like the crew, or is it more so? Like,
it's not the whole crew.
No.
Oh wait.
What do you mean?
No. You mean share? I thought you meant do I vocalize it and say?
No. He's asking if you agree.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, like the only thing that I really don't appreciate out of it is it was like not. If they would have went into it saying like we are going to create a show, like a story, like you're coming into this knowing like this is how it's going to be, I would have been like, okay.
It was deliberate lies. And
like what lies?
Well, here's what happened. Just background. There's a few people at Talent X that work with Sway, right? I work with Josh Griffin. there's a guy named Maxwell Mitchison and Michael Senzer who represent the other parts as well.
Oh God, this is
Basically, they negotiated the show with us in it and didn't tell us.
They didn't tell you.
No. So we basically get a text like, oh, are you guys ready to like sign the contract? I'm like, for what? Like, oh yeah, we're doing a show. I'm like, what? He said, oh yeah, we talked about it to you like 5 months ago. I'm like, yeah, things were very different 5 months ago than we are right now. Like now we have a company with Mark Wahlberg that we're trying to build. Like there's so many different things. Like this is like a waste of my time. The problem was we got on the phone with Facebook and we were prepared to tell them like we're not doing the show and we wanted to be nice about it. Apparently our staff never relayed that to them. And like the pressure we never relayed anything. So they got on the phone, they were shocked when we said we don't want to do it. Long story short, the other guys had signed the contracts already. So they're like counting this money in their bank. And it's like
other members of Sway?
Yeah.
Okay, signed it. That's why some people had blurred
that's
faces,
what sucks with
right?
this whole thing, by the way. The only reason we did this show...
the blurred faces.
The only reason
who's blurred?
The only reason why we did this show is because those people... We didn't want to hurt those people's wallets, and then they go shit on us. It's like, fuck you.
Like, with the specifics of what they... Was it more like, oh, we're going to spend money on this event that's going to be there?
No, it was like, we're not going to put this in there. And then it was like... I ended up being able to bully my way to get everything I wanted anyway, but it was like 4 hours of yelling each time. So it's like, it's just not worth it. And then like Facebook doesn't talk internally, so they're all like... whatever. I mean, look, what they're doing on the Facebook Watch side is very interesting, but I told them day one, I said, this show is not going to work because everyone's in a different path. It just isn't going to work. And I was like, we're not going to like do the things that you guys want us to do. Like, oh, don't worry. Like, we love Griffin. Yeah, okay. They got us.
What do you like? You get paid obviously for it, but out of that, do you get anything out of it? Like, do you get people who literally come and follow you because of the show, or any attention because of the show, or like?
Not really. I mean, Sway's...
Was that a serious question? It's Facebook Watch.
I mean, yeah, but it's still on. People talk about it. Gets posted on.
Yeah,
Tea
I
Room.
mean,
is there any like in your fan base? Do they care?
Posted on Tinder?
No, on TikTok, like Room and all. But like, do your fans give a shit? Do they follow it to follow you?
At the end of the day, dude, we've been doing Sway for a year now. Like anyone that's gonna follow me from Sway is like pretty much following me. Like it's not gonna make a substantial difference. Maybe a few, like whatever.
But your existing fans, do they give a shit about it?
Not really.
Okay, that's where it doesn't. Then what's the point?
Like that, it's like a very like personal thing because like they all went ahead and shed on us, and it's like this whole reason why we did this and got ourselves into this mess was for them. It was like very pure-hearted. Yeah. It was a conversation of like they're all going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they basically Facebook told us outright like we're not going to do this unless you guys are in it. Meaning Josh and Griffin. I'm not even.
Yeah, they wanted obviously like the biggest guys too.
Yeah, and it's Noah and Bryce are massive, but. And Blake's biceps are big. So, it depends what you mean by big. But the bigger thing was like, we were told outright, this show's not happening unless we're in it, right? Yeah. So, puts us in a tough spot. I mean, do we want to be the guys to go to Blake and say, here's, you're losing money, or Bryce, you're losing money? Like, it's not a great place to be in, and we do consider them friends, or at least I thought we did. I'm still confused on that. But, it's like, that's why it hurts me personally. I don't give a fuck about the narratives. Like,
everyone friendships.
But it just hurt my feelings a little bit. Like, when we went ahead and like did something in the really to benefit other people, and like did something really selfless. Like, it was a 2-3 hour conversation internally of me, Josh, Griff. Like, we were being selfless, really, legitimately. And then for like everyone to go ahead and like make us the villains, it's kind of like, not a great feeling.
Yeah.
And the fans that are mad at me can go kick rocks and take a long walk off a short plank. I don't give a fuck. But what does matter to me is like ruining my relationship with Bryce, who I've known for 4 years.
Yeah.
Ruining my relationship with Blake, who I've known for a very long time. I think Noah gets me. I think it was the other day we were on set and we told everyone we're leaving, and I was like, "Can you get me off too?" So and he said it on camera, so I feel comfortable sharing that. But it's like nobody. I don't think anyone really likes the show.
Yeah.
I think everyone is kind of like in it because there's some money. It's not what we expected because we were originally told like you'll get to film your YouTube, like we just want to follow you. It's like great. So then it was like we're gonna get extra money to film what we normally do, but there's none of that. You can't. They don't film YouTube.
Do they not following you as like your daily life?
No.
Is that not what it is?
No, that's
it's
the
like
thing.
you're scripted.
Soft,
you have a certain
scripted.
perspective that you need
Soft
to take.
soft
Totally,
scripted.
yeah.
So it's like we're going bungee jumping or whatever. So it's soft scripted. So what ends up happening though is we had 3 days. We had 3 days designated for content. The rest for meeting days.
Yeah.
That's gone because they took up 3 days. So they were trying to like catch up backwards. Like plus had meeting. It was just like
it was hell.
It was a disaster. And for like people that are trying to like Josh is like building. Here's the thing. Josh is like directly associated with Mark Wahlberg. Mark is like wanting to put Josh on different projects. Mark doesn't want to talk to the reality Kardashian kid. Like that's not what he wants to put in movies.
Yeah,
like,
you're putting people.
He
in
wants
between.
to mentor someone and build them. And it's like you delegitimize yourself by being on with Bonham Shitty on a reality show.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of it. So it's like that's what I mean. The real reason why we left the show was because the producers suck, and it didn't help our brand in any way.
All right, so this has been like.
Oh, did I mention that the producers suck?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Fuck
yeah,
the
yeah.
producers.
So okay, so what is up next for you guys? Like, because we've done this has been a sick episode, but
dude, we
what
announced a
is
$15 million venture
Yeah,
fund.
you have
I mean,
investments.
dude, things are just like it's people don't realize how much hard work these guys put in. Like if I showed you his calendar, people would shit their pants. I mean, he gets up every day, supposed to get up at 9, wakes up usually around 9:30 out of bed, but they're on calls from like 10 to 7.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna go home now and work with him, like go over YouTube plans for next week. Like we're going to Miami on Sunday, have a whole week of plans. We're going to Kevin O'Leary's house to film.
It's pretty
like,
nuts.
So we, different like shit that we're doing, and we're not. You see, Kobe said this. He said, "You know what separates me from every other NBA player?" He said, "I wake up at 6 a.m. So I get in 4 workouts a day when most NBA players wake up at noon and they get 2 workouts in a day. And that's the difference. Like you just can't outwork me, right?" Okay. And Mark Cuban says, he's like, "If you think you're gonna ever outwork me in something I'm working on, you're wrong. It's that simple. Like we're not geniuses. We're hard workers. We put in a fuck ton of time."
Yeah.
You know, I dare any other influencer to take on their calendars.
I mean, another thing too that people don't understand is everything I do is on top of being a full-time college student.
Yeah, you're still
So
in
it's
school.
like
Holy
This
shit.
guy is one of the hardest workers I know, and I know a lot of really hard workers that are very successful. This kid works incredibly
doing all
hard.
that on top of
and
nursing school.
and I'm hard on him.
Yeah, I'm in business management,
management,
marketing.
okay.
And I'm hard on this guy. I'm
Yeah.
really hard on this guy. And he surprises me every day. And that's the thing with like Josh and Griffin. It's if you find
Yeah.
people like I can, could I go work with bigger creators and like get them? Yeah, but the fact that I don't need to chase them, the fact that they're hungry, they're excited, we share in these winnings together. Like it's all about that. Even when I do like deals on the side, like I bring them in on it, like equity, whatever. Like we're a team. Like it's not. That's why I hate the word manager. It's like I'm not the manager, dude, because managers are transactional. We're partners. Like they own a part of everything I do. I own a part of everything they do, and we're in it together with equity, with long-term financial benefit and long-term opportunities. Like I'm not in this for 1 year. If I did, I wouldn't be here. I was working a $2 million a year salary job before. I left it to go work with Josh because I wanted to build something. I want to test a theory. Can I build a movie star out of nothing? And I bet when I met Josh, I had 3 million followers. Like it was nothing, dude. Like and so far, I mean, fuck, $15 million fund later. Mark Wahlberg stamping his name on us, like giving quotes about us. Later, like 30 companies later, multiple foundings, major retailers. Go down the list. Like what we've done has never been done before. It's not like Dobrik who has like a massive following or Mr. Beast. Like Mr. Beast, his following is the biggest. Like it's crazy. Of course, you can build shit off of that.
Yeah.
What we've done with these guys off the size they are and like how when we made, dude.
It's incredible what you guys are doing, and I don't think people are fully going to realize it for a couple more years. But like the last thing I want to touch on is what for you, like what are you going to do? What's up next for you, other than like what you guys are doing together, personally, content wise?
Movies, and also production. Like I'm looking into doing my own production. That's something I've been working on, building out some of my own shows and doing that. So that's something I'm excited about, and just eventually working towards, building out my career.
He's got a podcast that we're about to close on for him. That's fucking sick.
Okay.
With a really
It
big.
is.
I'll tell you what it is
Yeah.
offline, but really big name. Really gonna. It's gonna be amazing. It's a movie that I think will close. 75% chance of closing. It's a major movie.
Okay.
He will be one of the stars in it. So that's crazy. And Josh is pretty close to getting a role. One of like 5 last people on a pretty large television show that's piloting. So, like.
It's gonna be crazy shit.
Dude,
yeah.
Crazy, yeah.
We're all about testing theories and doing things that have never been done before. Like Addison Bookchip did a movie, but we used to see her around. She would carry the sides all day, like the audition sides. Like she did the very traditional, like go to auditions, the agency model. I don't touch those shit. When we get auditions, it's because the director or the executive producer is like
wants Griffin on specifically, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So where can they keep track of everything that's going to happen? We're going to announce all this shit too, so all the fans know. The news, Wall Street Journal. I mean,
You'll
your
see
Instagram
it on the
too.
socials. Yeah.
Go
Like,
check it out.
It's been such a pleasure. I just want you to know, like I DM'd you because I'm a fan of what you're doing. I think it's incredible, and however we can help, please consider it done. And happy to do whatever we can. If you need some help on the sponsors,
we're just happy to be here, man. We're huge fans.
This is a fucking awesome. Yeah, this was a lot of fun, and dude, just getting to talk for a while. We got to do this again, and I feel like we're doing different types of content.
Give us some
together.
time to catch up. Like, give us like a couple more months, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, let's do it.
And
All
in 1 week, we'll have a whole new thing to talk about.
All right, guys.
Give us a week.
Follow both Michael and Griffin. All
Don't
links will be
follow
linked
me,
down
I just-
below. All right, follow them on Twitter. That's
Don't
follow
follow
on
me.
Twitter.
Just tweet fuck Michael Gruen and I'll love you.
All right,
Just
guys,
tag
make sure
me.
to subscribe.
It's at Michael Gruen 101. I think it's 2 1s. Just say fuck Michael Gruen. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
And I'll retweet it. Thanks, man.
All right, guys, make sure to subscribe to the Free Follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. This has been one of our longest, but honestly one of the most entertaining, actually like in-depth episodes we've done.
Very interesting.
Yes, leave us a review, 5-star review, and again,
Are you alleging that most of your guests are dumb?
No,
Yes.
but more so that they're not going to talk about the state of the economy for 20 minutes and actually make it understandable for our audience.
So you're saying that most of your audience is not very smart.
I'm saying Keo didn't talk about the purpose of Bitcoin for 20 minutes. Guys, make sure to subscribe, follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys. Peace. Woo!